muhimu ni zile zinazoathiri maisha yako, na zinapojiri tuko hapo.
Tunakuletea habari zinazojiri nchini na kimataifa.
Hakuna kabila ambayo iko hapa Kenya kwa mwaliko ya mwingine.
Mambo ya matibabu isiwe starehe ya watu wadosi.
Tunakufahamisha kila wakati ili uwe tayari kwa yajayo.
We will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Katika ulimwengu unaosonga kwa kasi, usahihi wa habari ni muhimu.
The only thing that has changed, Senator Khalwale, is that you are defending the indefensible.
If you allow me as a bullfighter, I'll fix him here and now and it will be sorted out.
You were doing very well until you brought out your character of bullfighting.
Tunakupa habari sahihi na zisizoegemea upande wowote.
Pindi tu walioteuliwa wataidhinishwa na bunge la kitaifa.
Na ni hapa ndipo
Darubini,
kila siku ya Jumatatu na Jumanne
saa 1 jioni.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
The 19th of August 2025. Welcome to KBC Channel 1. This is a Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Megwe. It's a very chilly morning in Nairobi, which I have seen it being referred to as the city of men. How that true is, I do not know. What I know that this is Good Morning Kenya, and you are about to enjoy your morning. We have a lot in store for us. The team is already in the house, and I saw something somewhere, Victor, as Nairobi being referred to as the city of men. How true is that?
Shamba la mawe.
But what do you mean by the city of men? Don't we exist to you guys?
The city of men.
No.
Or just let me understand what that is all about. What does it mean by the city of men?
The city.
The city of men.
City of men.
Yeah, Victor.
It's a city where it's not meant for the faint-hearted.
Exactly.
1, 2. It's a city where if you survive for 5 years without kufungiwa mlango na landlord, you are good.
Yeah.
Haujapigwa ngeta, you're safe. Haujashikwa na kanjo, you're safe. Those 3 things.
Yes.
You can survive anywhere. So you're qualified to live in the city of Angoa.
It's city of men.
Of men.
Kama haijakuita mkutano.
Yeah.
Unajua kuna ile unafikanga mahali city inakwambia kuja ni wewe.
Mashinani kidogo.
Yes, mashinani kidogo alafu.
But if you survive for 5 years, haujafungiwa nyumba, haujapigwa ngeta na kanjo pia hajakupiga jack.
Yes.
You're qualified to be here.
Okay, so it's a city where
have you
it's all
survived?
about survival.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Have you gone through?
So far, I fit in the men.
Good one. So we are 3 men on this.
as far as Nairobi is concerned, and what it has
If
to
that's
offer.
the whole point behind that, then I join the men.
Welcome to the group.
Yeah, so the show is already packed already for you, so we implore you to be part of every conversation that will be happening right here on Channel 1. This is Good Morning Kenya. Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning, Mike, and a very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show this beautiful cold morning. It is always a pleasure to have you begin the show with us right here, as we always ensure to bring you the best of the best when it comes to information and just getting to educate you in general. And today, speaking about education and just getting info on different topics on health matters, we'll be looking at dyslexia. What exactly is dyslexia? What do you know about it? So we are going to be spreading awareness on inclusive education and disability rights, and I will be joined by one Esther Mushiri Wamai, who's the founder and CEO Bloom Dyslexia Center and Bloom Out, and we'll also have Dr. Norman Kyogoru, who is the director and secretary to the KBC Council. They will be here so that we can get to talk about that, and maybe just to get to pose the question to you, you can let us know what you know about dyslexia. What is dyslexia to you? What do you understand by the term dyslexia? Is it a new term to you? Is it something that you already have an idea of what it is? Kindly just let us know via our number 0716 103 301. We'll be coming in with that conversation at exactly 9 a.m. and I will be sure to go through your messages, that is WhatsApp messages. And maybe Victor and Mike, is this a new word to you guys, dyslexia?
Dyslexia, I've heard about it. I cannot authoritatively say that I know exactly what it is, but I'll be looking forward to that conversation.
Okay. Yes. So just to put an overview of what dyslexia is all about, it's a learning disorder. That is how you can characterize it. It's a learning disorder that is characterized by difficulty in reading. And most times you might not know whether your child has it or not, but well, we'll be having the experts right here in studio so that you can be able to learn more about it. Victor?
Yeah, so it can also do something to do with the language.
Yes.
And the child is not able to translate, pick certain things when it comes to language and just understand. You're right when it comes to reading. So I think that also brings some slowness in a child's growth, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, okay. Unpack that for us, Vivian.
I will.
All right, but before all that, let's take a look at what we have in the politics. And of course, I'll be joined by His Excellency, Dr. John Erusu, who is the Deputy Governor of Turkana County. I'll also be joined by Dr. Peter Mbai, who is a political and governance expert. He's also the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP Party, and Daniel Orogo, political and governance expert. Let's talk about the President versus the Parliament. That is Executive versus Legislature. So the jabs and the punches coming from across the divide. And of course, the President has been in that house, and probably now, whatever he's saying, he is speaking from a point of knowledge. But let's dig deeper, what it really means for the country and for the House. That is a second part of government. So join me at exactly, the show is on. The show is on. And before that, allow me to take you through the front pages of the local dailies.
All right.
Let me start with the Standard. Worst speakers ever, and that is what is here on the front page of the Standard. Worst speakers ever. That is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. The President has once again broken his silence to lash out at Parliament, where the leadership of Moses Wetangula and Amason Kingi is coming under sharp scrutiny. The two speakers stand accused of abandoning impartiality, presiding over corruption-tainted chambers, and surrendering the House to the highest bidder, far from defending the people they represent. Now critics say that Wetangula and Kingi are fast cementing their place amongst the most overwhelming, or rather underwhelming, speakers in Kenya's history. Okay, that is on the front page. And this is forming part of our discussion. I can see my guests already around here. So we should be starting this anytime from now. And on this inner pages, Art Stage loses boys as girls dominate festival. That is of the music festival that was in Meru. Officers deny witnessing Rashid shoot 2 youths. Another case of police brutality there. 5 police officers who are once served alongside former Pangani officer Ahmed Rashid, accused of killing 2 youths in Isli in 2017, testified at the Kibra Law Court yesterday. Vehicles used to smuggle goods to be handed to the state, says judge. That is what I have here, from life first cry to last goodbye. Sia's woman's 40 years calling. That is what I have here. Very quickly, Ruto vows arrest of MPs collecting bribes, but will he walk the talk? That is actually part of our discussion this morning. The president cited welfare chairpersons in the National Assembly and Sonko Huru in the Senate as conduits for graft. Sonko Huru, I beg your pardon. The president cited welfare chairpersons, quote unquote, in the National Assembly and quote unquote Sonko Huru, free market, was translated, in the Senate as conduits for graft. Now, several MPs have also called out speakers Wetangula and Kingi over their leadership. All right, it's the second time the president was going head-to-head with the MPs, and according to the president, there's a lot happening within the corridors of Parliament. Audit flags GDC for 344 million shillings ghost software. All right, so another case of audit queries and money is being lost. The supplier never installed the software despite receiving an advance payment of 138 million shillings. Where's the morality in that? I'm just wondering, where's the morality in that? It's just like we are being paid to come to work, but we don't come to work. I mean, look at that. Also concerns is GDC's failure to ensure its 7 drilling rigs worth 4.7 billion shillings. All right. Again, take a look at that story and in the inner pages of the Standard. Cracks in Raila's party widen as Sifuna Babu skip UDA MP talks. So cracks in Raila's party widen as Sifuna Babu skip UDA ODM talks. All right, so the ODM Secretary General is opposed to his party's working arrangement with Ruto's government. And leaders are part of the group of young politicians who are working in a new alliance. Interesting times ahead. Ex-Sia Assembly clerk shot dead by police at his bar. According to the eyewitness, there was a call for alleged burglary at the bar. And when police arrived, according again to the eyewitnesses, the police, some of the people ran away in the darkness. And this is the time that the gentleman who actually came out was the bar owner, who was also hunting for the burglars. And when police arrived, they fell him 2 bullets. Yeah. There's a sad fate of turn of events there. So that is what I have here on the front page, on the inner pages. Let me take you through this on the Star newspaper as I welcome my guests. How counties' new medical equipment will be bankrolled. How counties' new medical equipment will be bankrolled. It's explained that counties will pay for the equipment through SHA based on actual usage. Counties will pay for the equipment through SHA based on actual usage. And yes, a part of it, the governors will also be part of that process. Just want to see how that will come out. Despite huge failures to some families, SHA is a God-sent lifeline. Basically, that is what is here again on the front page. Ruto rewinds his 2022 hustler script for 2027 re-election campaign. All right. Ex-soldier awarded 25 million shillings for dismissal after Somalia attack. Okay. That is again on the front page of the Star newspaper. I will take a look at that very shortly. These desperate families find hope in SHA subsidized program. Okay, and there is a cartoon here. All right, I'll ask my guest to help me to just read that that cartoon shortly. All right, and ex-soldier also awarded 25 million shillings. How counties' medical kits will be bankrolled? There have been that arrangement between the national government and, of course, the counties when it comes to medical equipment. It has been an issue even in the past, but let's see how that will go. Ruto rewind hustler script to in battle for 2027 general re-election. That is, Hustler-in-Chief woos vast youth voting bloc with empowerment schemes. The latest one was what happened in State House last week. Okay. And when it comes to some of the instant analysis, President Ruto's high-octane youth charm offensive is already reshaping the political conversation as State House project sees him as project him as the only leader with a clear roadmap for the so-called hustler generation. Opposition critics say that it's not enough and question the source of money for his empowerment program. Analysis for that. Auditor General, political parties wasting millions. According to the Auditor General, I think Nancy Kadongo is a very busy lady right now, and our office is also working pretty hard with audits day after another. All right, how women and youth are not fully tapping state tenders? Is it? Why women and youth are not fully tapping state tenders? You can take a look at that story. On the front page of the Daily Nation, UDA, Raila MP's meeting fallout. UDA, Raila MP's meeting fallout. All right, that is on the front page of the Standard. That is what is here. They had a parliamentary group meeting yesterday in Karen, and the Daily Nation is reporting that there was a fallout. Let's see. The inaugural joint meeting of ruling coalition and ODM MPs was marred by controversy after President Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga put the lawmakers on the defensive. The president, for the third time, publicly condemned the bribery in Parliament, vowing to have corrupt MPs arrested, while Raila insisted legislators shouldn't run CDF kitty. With the poisoned environment, the forum ended prematurely. Okay. Of course, there's 5 men here who are now considered to be youngsters who are driving Harambee Stars Chan campaign. Okay, so basically, that is what I have here. Patients stranded abroad after 30-day SHA pay freeze. Patients stranded abroad after 30-day SHA pay freeze. Ailing Kenyans can't access social health authority abroad. What awaits Gachagua on return from U.S. tour? Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua set to fly into political storm on Thursday. After a month or two, let's see what Peter Mbai will tell us. Dr.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there something? Just hold. Just hold. He's here. He's here. He's here. Director, just take that shot. He's tell us, where is that storm coming from? Is there a storm? Okay, just hold. Just hold. Okay, so we are here. Man's search for Chinese father ends in heartbreaking twist. Okay. Nairobi hospital admits rift with the insurers. Again, that's on the inner pages. But now, it's now revealed that there was a fallout at Ruto and Raila joint MPs meeting. Yesterday, parliamentary group meeting turned stormy due to the leaders' sustained accusations of bribery against National Assembly. So, where does one find 150 million shillings? That's the question the president asked yesterday. 150 million shillings. That money belongs to the county. Members collected 10 million shillings to pass the proceeds of the crime and anti-money laundering bill. Akauliza swali, did you get the money? Yeah? Did you get the money? Yeah, they was like, no, I want to go. But it was, that's a very smart way to ask a question. Okay, so that's performing our part of discussion this morning. Let's just take a look at the war between the executive and the legislature, the two arms of government going head to head, and accusations and counter accusations happening right now. My guests are already in studio and we'll be getting to that discussion shortly. Let's take a break. We'll be right back into it straight away. Stay with us.
Kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo niko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama pedeshe, ma deep state, vile vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, station ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
right, welcome back. My name is Victor Lowe, and you're just right on time for People and Politics. Let's talk about what's happening across the country. You can also get to talk to us at Victor Lowe. My guest will tell me they'll tell you their social media handles. You can also reach us at KBC Channel 1. So let's talk about the president versus the MPs. What happened yesterday, and why for the third time the president is going head-to-head with the members of parliament? What is happening in the second arm of government, that is parliament? The accusations that the president threw to the legislators yesterday during the parliamentary group meeting, the first between ODM and UDA. Let me start with Daniel Orogo. Daniel, good morning. Daniel Orogo is a political and governance expert. He is not new to Jerusalem. Oh, yeah, there you have it. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you, my brother.
It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Karibu sana.
Always a pleasure to be hosted at Channel 1.
Karibu.
Yes, sir.
Harambee Stars doing great stuff.
Of course. We have our own different view about the ongoing championship. First, we admit it is a historical moment because we have hosted it. And we are the host. So that means the responsibilities are bequeathed in our shoulders.
Yes.
As a country, to ensure that we host this as a preliminary tournament. Remember, we are hosting the African Cup of Nations. And this is a launch pad. A lot of lessons we are learning as a country, and how to manage our funds, how to manage our sports, how to motivate. But the most interesting thing is the unity it's bringing back to the country. You see Kenyans from all divide, ethnicities, political aisles, different affiliations are acknowledging that the country,
yes,
for the first time, people are uniting towards what brings glory to the country.
Yeah.
And sports has been one of the, the driving factor to unity. I mean, you can always see how our athletes are always on the track, and people rally behind the Kenyanese, the nationhood. So this is one of the moments that we are seeing that our players, the national team is doing the best it can. Say for debates whether it's a motivational factor or whether the boys have trained.
Motivation is key.
I've trained very well. Or is this because of the reinforcement? That we are seeing the cash. But I also think because the fans are there encouraging the boys.
Yes.
That you see it's a moment for the country. And beyond all doubts, in the group of death, Kenya is the top of that group, and Kenya is headed to quarterfinals. I think that is so far where we are, and we should be proud.
I have a question. What if Kenya wins, Chan? Just to all of it. What if? Because we were considered underdogs before the game started.
No.
We were considered underdogs, the group of death and all that.
I mean, nothing is impossible, and people have been should be taught to believe that anything is possible under the sun.
Yes.
The only hope I have, because I mean, I'm a student of leadership and governance. I believe in systems, structures, and procedures.
Good.
I believe in, as opposed to short-term gains, I love sustainability. Okay, in everything that we do. My only hope is that we want to see something sustainable, because suppose today there was no president who is giving them, who is chunking money every time. Suppose there's no president who has promised them 600 million. Okay, where it comes from is another story. If there's no such a president, therefore, it means they will not perform maybe.
Motivation is motivation.
My point is very clear. I'm just saying, we want to see some local growth from primary school, some structured nurturing of talent, so we know we are a football powerhouse with or without necessarily lashing to see, there's something called performance enhancing drugs. It is short-lived. It's for that time. What we are saying, this is very good because motivation is part of, especially when you're doing major tournaments like this. But please, we want to see academies from primary schools. That's once you begin looking for sports people after secondary, you are done. You are late.
You're right.
You are late. Please, I want to see sustainability. We cannot not invest in sports and arts, then we expect results. This is a one-off. And okay, miracles stopped with Jesus. Turning wine to water, water to wine. Miracles, let's not so much dwell on the miracles. What we have here is a moment of miracles. And that's why everybody is shocked. But why is everybody shocked? When Faith Kipekon is running, the girl from my village in Nakuru, we don't get shocked. Somehow we expect, this, she trained. She has been waking up at 4 to train. But this one, why is everybody shocked? Because it's wow, it can come and it can go.
Okay.
Can we be sustainable in these things?
Your fellow doctor is smiling at Doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
His Excellency Dr. John Erusi is the Deputy Governor of Turkana County. Karibu sana.
Yeah, asante Olo.
Just starting by football, I mean, the motivation is here, and we are going to get the political football shortly. Just setting the ground running.
I actually support Mr. Mbai's view that we need to develop systems for sports in this country. Our ambassadors are doing well. We know that we have a lot of talents. Talanta Hela was maybe one way getting there. But I think if we develop those academies so that we nurture those talents, we will not be sitting here and saying, oh, okay, motivation is motivation, yes, but we know the capability of our ambassadors when it comes to games, football, and it is good that we are seeing our team for the first time headed, if not going to win, just going to give us all proud. But it's a moment of the country that helps us to
be proud of that.
Be together. Yeah.
Great. Let's get into it, gentlemen. Now that we've done our mic test and voice test, we are all set. So the president for the third time, I think, is also here on the front page of the Daily Nation, Mheshimiwa. UDA and Raila MPs meeting fallout. That is what I'm actually looking at. And the president for the third time, Daniel, is getting on the jugular of the members of parliament. He's been a member of parliament before. So whatever is happening within that corridor maybe have changed because of the attire, and now it has been upscaled or whatever it is. But all factors remaining constant, he's accused members of parliament in the strongest term possible, you know, taking bribes to affect outcome of the report in the committees.
And he said that he's speaking from a point of knowledge.
Yes.
Because he receives the raw intelligence briefs, quoting him what he said on the papers and what is reported on the papers. So we may probably presume that the president is authoritatively speaking about what is ongoing, and he has an evidence to, you know, the accusation about voter bribery, bribery within the August House. Secondly, we have evidence the fact that I think some times ago, Victor, we might have mentioned one member of parliament actually some times ago, gave a statement and committed that in that house, people are always taking bribes in the toilet. I think that is on public record, Victor. It's not something I'm saying here for allegation. One member of parliament has been on record sometimes last year said that indeed these kinds of vices happens within, the parliament.
Yes.
So may I begin first by saying that out of president's statement and brief that, of course, I received briefs and there's evidence, and out of testifying from a member of parliament, who I do not want to mention on the set, but is on public record, then we can conclude that there is there's an evidence of an act like that happening in the houses. From that, we can presume. Number three, he was asked then he posed a question. I think when you're doing the brief, you read that question.
Yes.
Have you received? Throwing a question to this, the members of parliament who are seated here, who are seated there. Have you received? And then there was a silence. So
no, they said no.
They said no, and then the question, he was challenged and said, "Can you name these members of parliament?" So what followed is, "I will not name them, but I will arrest them."
Yes. I will not shame them. Yes.
I will not shame, but they will be arrested. So of course, I think with all this and the fact that the three reasons I've given, it seems that being the head of executive, he has privy information, strong evidence that indeed certain members of parliament, either from the National Assembly or the Senate, might have been recipients of, the bribery when, in carrying out their accountability responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, and you've just mentioned as well, I think sometimes we really need to be, objective in our thought. And the dice has been cast on this other end. On a television set yesterday, I think one of the Senate members was challenged about the impeachment, whether the bribe was given during the impeachment of the former deputy president, running to 10 million. Again, these allegations, running to 10 million and over for you to have casted your vote. And then, she challenges, say, no, it really was given. So I think that conversation is very, very prime. In the sense that we are looking at a House of Representatives.
Yes.
In the debate that we are talking about, the Article 10 of the Constitution, the national values and principles of governance in this country, in the presence where we are on a conversation about the Chapter 6 of the Constitution, or the Integrity Act, and members of Parliament who are asked and who are required to be people who embrace, or people who has gone through an integrity channel and has come out as people who are able to represent the country, and they're able to do the accountability, they're able to do oversight, roll in the parliament, and come out as clean, as integral as possible. So I think my question is, we do not, we cannot cast an evidence and wait for, the investigative authority to do their work, but we are indicting the parliament as an institution, as the third arm of government. That if there are semblance of corruption in parliament, then I think this is something that really needs to be discussed, because then where are we? Who will represent, who will be the face? Who will represent Kenyans and do our accountability role?
What does it really show to the National Assembly, Dr.
Very simple. There is a problem here with the registration or legislature arm, and of course it has been there. Everybody has been thinking about it. Now it has come to the head. It has come from the head of executive. But let me ask you, I don't want to be here trying to now, because we have been told now I'm clean, let us hit them. No, who started this thing? Now, from the whole set of broad-based, the broad-based issue, the point is, it came together. The best business of money changing hands was the issue of impeachment. So they tasted blood, if I may use that word. They tasted, the honey, So this thing is real. And let me put it this way.
But that could be substantiated.
Okay, now let me put it this way. It is alleged every senator was given 10 million. Let me use that word.
Okay,
it is alleged every MP received some money. So the question is, what has been happening? These same MPs have been lining up every weekend, being told Sidikiza from some money. They are met and told, take this money, go to the podium, say it is your money. So they can see money moving around, right? So now the other issue is when they ask for money from the executive, remember, it takes two to tango. EACC should be very keen. As the president says he's going to arrest, which I don't think is going to happen anyway, I don't think so. When the president is going to arrest some people there, EACC should start with whoever give the 10 million from the anti-money laundering. Why it pains the executive, the Anti-Money Laundering Act, because it was a condition by World Bank to be given loans. There was a loan of 173 billion. That's why they get the money. So EACC should start with the person who gave the money, then go to the person who's giving the money, if it goes that direction. But when a father does some bad manners at home, in the presence of the kids, then the kids does the same. Surely you cannot blame the kid wholesomely, because the kid is just learning from the best. The issue of bribery in parliament has been started because executive is the one who has the money. Now let me ask you, when you see the outside general reports gathering, of course, which are gathering dust in parliament, what happens, Victor, is this. There is a very damning report that comes on E-Citizen. Let me give you a recent example. E-Citizen, right? Money lost, billions, 11 billion, for example. And you see broad-based members of parliament on TV. This is very sad. This is very wrong. This is a scam. The following day, what happens? They call some people from the executive and they are smiling. Say, I think now we have got solutions. We have got answers. What happens? Money changes hands. So it is something that has been perpetuated by the executive. Victor, I refuse to sit here and being told to hate parliament now. I refuse. I refuse to come here. I've been told suddenly that parliament is very bad, executive is very good. If you start something, I don't know why it is paining the president so much. He's the head of the executive. Why are these reports, why is there a need to bribe? Because the reports are rotten. The Auditor General is exposing a lot of things in government, and we have many of them and you know them. Then when they get there, they have to grease their hands so they can give a good report. So don't blame the MPs wholeheartedly. It is not right to ask for bribe, but unfortunately, the whole basis of broad-based, I can tell you, the whole essence of broad-based is sustenance. Everybody has to scratch my back scratch the other. Let us go all the way to 2027, and then we see what happens. So, and because many broad-based MPs know that the government is very, very weak and is desperate, that's why they're asking for the money. It's the whole issue of conspiracy. Okay. That's why we need a leader.
It's a whole issue of conspiracy.
Is it only broad-based members of parliament? Because I think that is what.
I also wanted to ask why broad-based?
All chairmen of the official opposition were removed. The people who are the chairmen of those committees, they are broad-based. The chairmen of welfare are from the broad-based. The people of Sokohuru, we need to add some of these conditionally. Sokohuru members are broad-based.
That's a free market.
No, I think, in due respect, I totally agree. The issue of accountability in this country has been an issue. Fighting for constitutional change in this country has always been on three pillars. Good governance and corruption has been one of the things that we have been fighting for in this country. Do we have institutions that can oversight that? Yes. Did we make a mistake in the 2010 Constitution? Absolutely. Because when we were looking at which institution is capable of oversighting which one, we went into diversion and then watered down the responsibilities that we had thought that the Senate would have. For example, being the oversight between the National Assembly and the Executive.
Yes.
Now, we have institutions that we keep on asking questions every day. I was in Homa Bay when the president said, if EACC, for example, someone has been investigated or the EACC officials have gone to a government official and they were found with 700 million, and that person goes and gets an anticipatory bail and continues to get those orders granted forever. How many people in this country that even when they have their issues of ethics, forgeries, all these kind of things. Now, when it comes to the issue of what my colleagues have discussed, that the president is calling out MPs. I think, in my view, what I believe we should do is to let the institutions that are supposed to carry out this oversight to do their job. And as long as we are just going to talk about it and to feel emotional about it, I don't really think this conversation is going to be blamed on either the members of the broad-based government. I know I'm a member of broad-based government, but I have had conversations with, for example, with governors that we interact like on casual basis. And what do they tell you about when they are being summoned on these committees of the Senate? They have to go there and negotiate. You know, it is sad because what does that
negotiate
mean?
About what, sir?
Negotiate, like if they have been summoned or for something, then they have to prepare some kind of money to take to the committees. And I think the president spoke about it. Raila Amolo Odinga spoke about it. So it seems this is the right time to have these conversations. But these conversations cannot just be conversations if there is no action that is going to be taken. Because those members of parliament were telling the president to name the individuals that have been receiving bribes. But all over, we have had scandal after scandal after scandal. And the same individuals who, in one way or another, have been mentioned multiple times on these scams, they're still serving. They are serving at various levels of government. If that trend continues, then we are just making it something that is normal and
But gentlemen, is this call by the president able to change anything? Done. Because, as he says, probably we can also pick that as a point of correct information, because governors, when they're summoned to these committees, yes, and those committees are very powerful. And when a report lands in the, committee's desk, we all know what can happen there after the investigations. So, is it going to change anything?
Well, I don't know, but I think it's in the process of conversation, sir, Kenyans might propose, a solution, or the country might be drawn towards a workable solution to tackle, the racketeering and, the vice that is going on in the National Assembly and in the Senate. But look, it is bent on oversighting. Who oversights the person who is oversighting?
Yes.
Who watches the watchdog? I think the question that we keep asking is that we have, in our makeup, we made the National Assembly a very powerful, arm of government. And they can go rogue, with impunity. In the process of holding, others to account. We also a little bit erred in the makeup of our constitution and say that the members, the governors, any executive now can be summoned by the quasi-judicial. The quasi-judicial. The parliamentary committees are quasi.
Powers of High Court.
That they have equal powers to the High Court. And therefore, in the process of conducting their oversight role, they can make pronouncement or threaten to make pronouncement that can send cold towards the spine of whoever is appearing on the throne. And the only duty, the only salvation that such an individual has is what the Honorable Deputy Governor is saying here, that to quell that kind of, move by some money and, the money that speaks. So I think, yes, the conversation is timely, but I think it should be robust. And I think you are going to ask about what kind of conversation should we have as a country now that we are talking about a bipartisan and bringing back, the NADCO report and all these things. And so we have been here on every time looking for a dialogue and conversations. But I think at the center of this conversation, is to look at a time where can we, for the first time, discuss the institution Parliament as one of the institutions the Honorable Deputy Governor is talking about that should be given the independence that it serves. But also on the other side, I agree with Dr. Mbaye because, my friend, you really need to come clean in hands to condemn some of these vices. So the integrity, I don't know why because now I'm looking at also on the other side. We need to, the blade needs to cut on the both sides. Because when you're calling someone to account, you should be going to the clean hands. And I'm not pointing the finger to the head of executive. I think even authorities, have we had that recently some of the officials of Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has been convicted as well? Have we had that there's a full indictment to the judges in the judiciary? So I think for us as a country, as a vision of this country, where is the honest conversation that we should be having? If we don't have it, then we'll be coming here and there looking at what else can we be talking about.
Okay.
More and more.
You will give us an idea of that conversation, Dan. What does this really show? Two levels of governance. The only safe one is now the judiciary bit of it, of which
sometimes... No, it's not.
Yeah.
There
was already a petition.
No, it's not.
To remove the members.
Let me tell you right now, and I'll say that from the word go.
I think I really have to restructure my question.
Let me tell you to get what.
Fine, go ahead, Dr.
Let me tell you to get what.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you right now, the only hope Kenyans have today, until 2027 at least, is the judiciary. Right now. Because when you see these kind of things between the two arms of government, the executive and legislature, be very worried and pray that the third one is not part of this mess. So the only hope we have right now, I'll say that in passing, and I'll qualify later. But number two, we are here to help Kenyans to understand the context. Now, when you come and ask a question, where does someone get 150 million? And it was a question. And see, when you ask a question, when the president asks a question and he repeats the question, it's good to give him answers. Do you know what Kenyans are asking? Where do you get the money every weekend for empowerment? This is 20 million per weekend times 4 times 6 months. That's what Kenyans are asking. Remember, I come from a party where we reason a lot to the ground. So people are asking, where do you get the money to do all this kind of things people are seeing? So when you ask us, where does someone get? Where do you get? The money. So when you talk about wastage and all these kind of things, you are coming not with clean hands. That's very important. I refused again. But number two, I'll tell you this. When you talk about leadership and governance, we allow systems to work. The moment you begin interfering and come in between, you'll be eaten or the system will collapse. There's nothing to talk here. You asked a very good question. Where will all this end? Will it change anything? My thinking, I've been thinking the whole night. Why all this? Why publicly? Okay? If you wanted to just send the kids and the MPs, you'd call them in camera. And literally mention names and say, me, I don't want to hear this thing again. It's become too much. But I can tell you, the moment you say, I'm going to arrest them, as who, how? Who is the complainant? What are you telling us about? Please. Let us not, if there is a problem of bribery, don't cause more drama. Don't cause more drama. Let's go to what do we do with the oversight.
What are you reading? What are you reading?
That's a very good question, because that's why we are here. I'm asking, if it was something that was meant to change something, this is a president who used these MPs. Yes. And by the way, if you talk about arrest, let's all go back to where the Bribery started. Because we are putting these MPs under the bus. Actually, you're telling Kenyans, these people are corrupt. Don't even vote for them. Don't even think about 2027. But he wants to be re-elected. So you throw these people under the bus, and you go out there, create new people. Yes, create a new movement. You know, this is pre-natures. What you see here about 10-point agenda is now courtship, dating and all that. Marriage will happen next year after 1 year anniversary. Then there will be some coalition, political one. So I feel for the senators and MPs. They are being thrown under the bus. Because tell me, somebody who will go and vote them. You'll be told, you passed finance bill, number 1, you did number 2, number 3, you took the bribe. So I'm asking, why should the president take this opportunity to go? One, already, he's the one who started this. The people who are going to arrest anybody, they should start with, people should come out and say, I was given 10 million. Then now, it takes two to tango. EACC can capture the one who gives this money, the one who gives the other money. But let me tell you, there's nothing like a dialogue to solve this thing. Vic, we must stop going after other things to sort what we know should happen. My problem is what happens to oversight.
It's 7:30.
That is very important.
I want to serve you tea. Doctor, I want to serve you tea. This is a table of men. I want to serve you tea.
Should we go back to 2022? Not 2027. Is this members of parliament from opposition as well?
Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
It's going to be very dangerous. Very bad for
kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set for CHAN 2024. Please watch out for every thrilling goal, every breathtaking moment on our radio stations, on our TV platform, and all on our social media pages. CHAN iko KBC.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa
Welcome back. It's now time for us to continue the discussion. If you're joining us, let's talk about the accusation from the executive to the legislature. So let's talk about this now. Dr. The fact that the president has talked about this for the third time, and we have got several committees of parliament, and we have got several reports and summons that have happened there. What does that really show to the reports that get to the political limelight, and whether those reports have been doctored or not?
We have had the president express, and using very strong terms, by the way, like extortion.
Yes.
You know, extortions. You see, the term extortion is a very serious criminal term. So, where are we heading with this? I think I agree with my colleagues that the third arm of government now, the legislature, is watching keenly this conversation. I know they have been fighting their own battles against those who have been filing petitions to have them removed. But this is a sigh of relief because at the end of it all, where the executive and the legislature get redress is the judiciary. But this is also a moral question because it begs the question, why did we have Chapter 6 of the Constitution? It talks about ethics, talks about morality, talks about responsibility. Now, if IEBC, for example, clears a convicted felon, how do you expect to get credibility, or how do you even talk about the issue of representation in the first place that is based on integrity? So either the nation, this national dialogue or this conversation empowers these institutions to take a decisive action, and the judiciary has to review some of their procedures. And I agree with the president when he said that for how long will somebody continue to receive anticipatory bails? Ethical issues are ethical issues. So criminal matters are criminal matters. If a criminal matter can be dragged in a court for 20 years, if you look at majority of the people who serve in leadership roles, for example, if you start with all those scandals in this country, you know, since I was a student until today, some of those individuals are there. Some of them have very serious criminal cases outside this country, but they are serving and they're provided to give. We continue to elect them. If this conversation that the executive is leading to empower these institutions to take decisive actions, including the timelines on which matters of corruption, matters of ethics have to be concluded, the timelines for those, I think it will lead somewhere. But it also talks about why the public is also in this mess. Because if the people who are supposed to provide the oversight and the leaders that we have elected are all accused, then who is left free? So I hope that this conversation really will strengthen the oversight institutions and be given the powers to do their responsibilities. Otherwise, the same people, money is recovered somehow before it is recorded as an exhibit. 60% is gone, or maybe somebody is negotiating. Some people, you know, if you read in newspapers, so even when the EACC officials go to the individual houses and making a lot of recoveries, it is very difficult to see the same people, just like they are emboldened. What emboldens them, I don't know. But I think this is really what we believe. If there is sincerity in terms of setting some kind of standard.
Yeah.
That standard is set and maintained.
Okay, let's talk about the credibility, Danny. What does it really test the credibility of that arm of government, Parliament?
Definitely. I mean, there's no doubt, and that's why from the moment we started talking about the state, of our Parliament, I was bold enough and say this is an indictment to the credibility and the posture of Parliament as an institution. I'm referring to Parliament as an institution. And why as an institution? Because it is, the legislature is an arm of government, that should be independent. The word is independent. So if in accordance to the Constitution and their oversight responsibility, then there is barrage of accusations that we are seeing, especially from the head of executive. Then I say that there is an evidence, could be an evidence from the allegations that this is happening. And why should we be disturbed about this? Because like I've mentioned, probably the executive has got an issue with Parliament because there are three inseparable arms of government that works independent. But as a citizen, this is a house that should provide hope for me. This is a house that should oversight. This is a house that should represent my view as a Kenyan. This is a house that, through the powers that we gave with our vote in the ballot, we gave them an overall responsibility to fast track some of these responsibilities. So there is no way in the powers that we equip to them, they cannot pay the Mwananchi back with corruption. They cannot pay Mwananchi back with bribery. So however much we are here, and my colleague Dr. Mbai is trying to to say that he pities the members of Parliament, and he's saying he pities those from the broad-based. No, I'm saying we are not only from broad-based that we should pity. It is a whole house under indictment. Whether you're in government or whether you're in opposition, as alleged, you have a case on your shoulders to answer. You have a case to answer to Kenyans. And look, this is not as we are looking towards 2027. I mean, Daktari, the Deputy Governor, corrected and said that this mess was here before. Even as we are headed to election, we have members of Parliament with questionable character from both aisles, who, by one way or the other, beat their way out of integrity chapter and found their way into Parliament. And later then, I'm also going to indict the citizens of the Republic of Kenya with the choices that we are making to put these, because these guys do not just come from another planet. These are members of Parliament that we sit, we vet, and indeed we go and vote them.
Okay.
So for me, I think that it's a wholesome. That is why, even as Dr. Mbai is indicting me about the need of conversation, I am saying yes, we have the institution that should fast track, investigation, and if they are found guilty, to be brought to account through, the judiciary. But I'm also saying, as a Kenyan, the conversation that we should be having is that even as we apportion the blame, we should look at their obligatory responsibility as Kenyans, because we are obligated to elect members of Parliament that we feel are people who are members who are integral in their character and have lived among us to represent us.
I'm trying to be in the shoe of Wanjiku. How does this sound in the ears of Wanjiku? Because when you say that members of Parliament, the entire house is now condemned.
Yes.
What does this really sound in the ears of Wanjiku down there, the voter? Dan?
The voter, it sounds that they're also indicted because these are members of Parliament we elected. I am very, very open because we've been in campaign trail. No, some of us are run for office. Some of us are in the office. We know what Wananchi expect from a candidate who is seeking for position in this country.
Okay.
The question is that we ask, should we take our time for this time? This must teach us a lesson as the citizens of Kenya, to take our time and vet the members of Parliament that we elect. Have a conversation with those that we want to elect at their higher responsibility. And we are not exonerating ourselves from the mess that we are in.
You remember they talked about the recall clause. Somehow it works. The Speaker of the National Assembly said, well, we shouldn't be blamed for enacting appropriate legislation for recall of MPs. So
I think, Vic, you ask a question. What is Wajiko thinking?
Exactly.
Let me tell you what I think Wajiko thinks. Wajiko knows. Wajiko has given up. Wajiko knows that there's a lot of eating going on between the executive and the legislature, especially since broad-based. And I'll tell you this. Please, Dan. All the chairmen who were not aligned to broad-based were removed from chairmanships, and definitely any chairman appoints the chairman of welfare that is aligned to them. I mean, I served at least in the county. I understand what happens. The chairman of the committee, first of all, were all removed to those who didn't agree with the president, and Raila Odinga, they put the friendly ones. So this is the house eating each other. This is a broad-based now, the chicken coming home to roost. You know, when you do an incestuous relationship, it will come to bite you one day. And that's what is happening. Number two, quickly. Now, you ask a question. What happens in Parliament? We have like 4 reports that we know have landed there from the Auditor General reports. Because Parliament is supposed now to check, investigate, and put executive into account, right? A citizen goes to schools, you know, all those kind of things, Hasra Fund, like 5-10 on issues that are not clear. Even housing levy, even SHA. Reports have been there, you know, you have been seeing the reports. Yeah. Now, they are all dead. Why? Because the Parliament was compromised. So what actually we are talking ourselves, we have a team of lawyers, because like I told you, our hope is judicial. So we are preparing, going through all those reports to go to court and try to see whether we can get some reprieve from the court. And that's why there are 3 arms of government. To go and say, this is what was said. So Parliament has not been able to do anything 90 days later. That is what, because, I mean, you're asking, what is the position of Wajiko? Yeah. Some of us are saying, we can't wait until 2027. We must give hope to Wajiko by saying, look here, this is what happened. Auditor General list issues which have not been done anything, or the report was sanitized. Right? So, therefore, what do we do? We must proceed and ask the courts, kindly intervene for us, have orders done, for example, stopping some of these things, ordering about something about go schools, something about stoppage of wastage through Hazra Fund, e-citizens, where is the 11 billion. That is what we are saying. We are doing as citizens, because we cannot wait for 2027. But the other issue, now, Victor, we cannot get lost on one thing. All these things is happening because there is a 10-point agenda here. The president must be seen to be doing something about the 10-point agenda. I'll pick only 2. One is corruption, which we have discussed. So he has to be seen to be fighting. And you see, remember the statement of both Raila and Ruto, that we must fight judicial everywhere. Corruption everywhere. In the judiciary, in the legislature. So they must be seen, start to be seen to be doing something. Never mind, I don't see that arrest happening. It was meant to, and I want to read to you something Karungo, as a senator for Kiambu, has sent here. President Ruto is practicing preemptive blackmail. By shouting that senators are bribed during impeachment, he's not suddenly discovering corruption. He's laying ground to manipulate perception. We know money has exchanged hands before, but why is it now? Just as the Senate begins hearing the charges against Governor Erigi Mutai of Kericho. Simple. He wants to corner the Senate. Did he say he knew? It's my time. He knew. Come on. He's simple. He wants to corner the Senate to dance in his 2,000 tunes. If we impeach, he takes credit. If we don't, he says we were bought. That is not fighting graft. That is weaponizing the truth for political convenience. I'm just saying, in that context. Let me go back. Now, if you look very keenly, the president is supposed to address some UN UNGA next month. Whether he'll do that is another story, because there's a petition. We are targeting 10 million people to say she not address. That's another story of another day. That one is another day, Victor. We are going to discuss about it. Now, let's come back home.
Daktari.
Now, he mentioned about corruption. Number 2, look at the issue of this issue of compensation. Now, you go against the law, appoint Professor Makau Mutua to read something which is not there. He tried the same with Maraga. It was thrown out by the court, because it was the responsibility of NPS. Duarte did the same by appointing some team to look for the pending bills of NHF. It was thrown out by the court because it was constitutional. So we have a tendency by the executive that wants to do this to please people, a lot of PR. It is not anchored on law. I can tell you today, the Victim Protection Act is there. 2014 enacted as a law. Okay. Now, the question is, simply go and operationalize, put a board of trust, the board that's supposed to be there, put trustees so they can go and do the composition. But you want to put professor so that you can manipulate it, so that you can handle it. And then Duare comes and says, it's not 2024, we will start with the Ouattara massacre. just to muddle the waters. There is no intentionality to do what's supposed to be done. So this 10-point agenda is what is the basis for all this. And I can tell you this.
All right. Is there any political move with this statement from the president, being the third time that the president is raising this, and now it's raised on a parliamentary group meeting, you know, both houses, so it's not members of Kenya Kwanza being hit head-on or members of ODM. It was a joint parliamentary group meeting. Any political move out of this?
You know, I reflect back on when Uhuru released list of shame of those MPs. More than 50% of them are still in. They were re-elected a few times. Yes. They're still serving as members of parliament. What comes out of this? I think I agree with my colleagues here that this conversation should just go beyond just the national dialogue.
Yeah.
The public needs to know. The executive needs to continue to have these conversations. Could there have been a structured way to do it? Yes, absolutely. We have committees, we have speakers of both houses of parliament. But to me, when it comes to the issue of corruption, I think this is something that is supposed to cut across, regardless on whether we have a 10-point agenda that is a political convenience for broad-based government officials. You know, if you look at other democracies, developed democracies, they also struggle with their own coalitions. Germany, for example. And when you begin looking at this conversation, my view is this the right moment in which Chapter 6 of the Constitution would help us to sanitize or to get us going into the direction in which we are supposed to go? Because if you see at the Gen Z protests, one of the things that came out was the issue of accountability. And in accountability, we are talking about corruption. We are talking about we are entrusted with public offices. How are we building that public confidence to ensure that we are accountable and we are helping other people to account as well? And so this conversation should just go beyond what the president and Raila are saying. It should include strengthening the institutions, oversight institutions. And it should cut across. Because the moment you have Wanjiko is the one who is appearing in court and also getting their cases cleared very quickly. And my matters are delayed, and then after 10 years I'm still in an elective position. And then that erodes public confidence.
Okay. I mean, I want us to start to land, the show. Solution to this, done. Walking the talk. The president said that he's not going to shame them. He's going to arrest them.
I was just coming to that. And you know, the mess, every problem we seem to be facing, looked at our governance and political architecture or law. It's two issues, whether... And that's why I'll still come back to the role of Mwananchi, by the way. I'm not exonerating him from this, however much Mbai would want me to do that. The reason we are having a problem in this country is we haven't been emboldened enough to have an issue-based politics where the citizens would decide, give the powers to any member of parliament who is capable, regardless of any political party that they are running with. We are a party, we are a nation that is so political party-oriented, and that however much any probable and potential member of parliament or any elective position, or even governor, or the ticket of deputy governor, unless you to a political party, And you know the formations of these political parties, where they're coming from. ODM, the majority. DCP now, you know where the majority is coming from. You know, UDA. The makeup of a political party is indeed a problem.
Yeah.
And therefore, what are you going to reap from the outcome of the political parties? You are to reap members of Parliament and Senate who must be loyal to certain tasks and certain responsibilities and certain directions. And that even if an impeachment motion is brought to them, you will look funny when you become very independent about your thought, rather than carrying out your oversight role. And therefore, you'll even be compelled. Because I heard some of them were being said, you either take the money or you shun the door. Allegations again. So I think in this still conversation with Mwananchi, not the political conversation, is one of the things we are looking at. And mark my words that all these mechanizations that you're seeing are definitely going to a plebiscite.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that for a fact. It's going to a conversation, a proposal, and a referendum. It is not the first time we've heard about the committee of experts. Right? Now Mbai agree with me. It's not the first time we have heard about, let us put a team together to look at after the 7th, 8th March of Handshake. And then what brought that is a Building Bridges initiative. Stakeholders consultation. You know, these buzzwords are very familiar. Stakeholders consultation, public participation, and then what does it become? A discussion on a referendum. After that, we also look at the NADCO, the committee of the NADCO. What are we looking at? A stakeholders meeting, a consultation, a document. What is that document informing? A referendum. This one is here again, because you've seen the task force team has already said that we are going to do the same thing. We are going to look at the stakeholders' engagement. We are going to visit the counties, in India, and then come up with a document that will be graced. What will that document look at? We are looking towards a referendum. So a political class, one of the political classes that we're having is towards looking at how do we sustain a nation in the heat of things by a national conversation, by a discussion, by the proposal, by bipartisan. Those words, you hear them, are always taking a Mwananchi to prepare them for. So I am telling you in this set today that what you'll hear out of this conversation, I'm willing to come back to this set after the Zani committee. You'll hear we are proposing a what? A referendum. You'll hear we are proposing something that will come. So as you ask me, what is Mwananchi thinking? Mwananchi, and I'd like to add in what Mbai is talking about, Mwananchi is very confused because now we have a system of government that, the current president keeps on referring as a mongrel, where the members of the United Democratic Alliance are now in opposition. We are having a problem where section of members of ODM who should be in opposition are now in government. What a confusion. What an interesting time to live by. So in all these things, we cannot, still I'm saying, that is why we cannot exonerate any political party, any political party. It's good that you have a hope in the judiciary. And I think this is okay. But I would like to task you that one of your party leaders has viciously condemned the judiciary and is on record. Your party leader went bare knuckle on judiciary last year on January in Bargetuni in a tournament, condemned the judiciary for, making orders to halt, government processes on the 7th March against Justice Maina. So where can you tell us, as a member of this particular political party, that you have a hope in the judiciary and now you are taking court cases to... I mean, you are part of the confusion that Kenyans are facing right now. Victor, we are not exonerating you from this.
Daniel started the show. Daniel started the show very well. Now he's going Now he started the show very well. I don't know what... I don't know what is called this coffee had.
The show is going on very well. The show is going on very well.
No, number one. Now, very quickly, Vic.
My friend,
very quickly, Vic.
I have to put it. The show is going on very well, and we are almost about to finish.
Very good, yes. And
in 1 minute.
I was wondering whether there was something additional to this. In this now, one, the same second deputy president is talking about. He is on record as well, saying, no, he came back and said, I believe in judiciary, even when he was going through impeachment. And even now, that's why he has appealed in court. So, really, he may have said something, but then he came, everybody is capable of looking at what he said before. But number two, let me tell you, I'll give you my summary. Victor, everything rises and falls on leadership. That is, as per John Maxwell, one of the best authors, books on leadership.
Yeah.
This whole thing, there is one CEO of this country. There's one CEO. If you see anything going wrong in a family, you ask the head. There is an issue here of a politician who never recovered from politics, and he brought politics to governance. It cannot work. There are two different things. That's why.
But the CEO, Dr. The CEO can also be frustrated because the other arm of government is not not. For example, the thing is the number of reports or laws that Wanjiku is riding on right now.
Yeah.
According to the president, some of them are half-baked or doctored.
Now, what I can tell you is that why Parliament finds a way, a route of getting for money because of the rot that is presented to them from the executive. And if there's one angel God sent, listen, the Auditor General, the Controller of Budget, these are two leaders that God should keep forever and even strengthen, longer, just make sure that their lives are even longer. Because they are the same people, just two offices that are quite independent and doing their work. The Lord's work, if you want me to say that. I would repeat this again. I can tell you, once you have the responsibility to become the CEO, anything coming 3 years later, people are getting bribes. Really? After 3 years of government, you have not put systems and structures. How you are going to deal with legislation? You are the one who started the bribery issue and the voter movement of money. You cannot cry now. That's an issue of leadership.
I want us to...
No. What I will tell Wanjiku...
The time is up. The time is up.
Victor, what I will tell Wanjiku is very simple. We are repeating that a mistake has been done about the quality of leaders. Now, look at 340 MPs and senators quickly. Only about 25 never impeached Rigathi Gachagua because they couldn't see the reason, including Babu Owino and others. Imagine 10% of 340 are the people who have the integrity and quality for why they were voted. All the others are going to go home. We are going to get new leaders who cannot be corrupted. No, I am not worth 20 million. Look at me properly. I'm not worth 10 million, 100 million. I am worth my services. I'm going to render the people of Kenya and the people of Nakuru, for example, when I'm elected senator. I am not worth. If you can put a price on me, I'm not worth to hold a public office.
Thank you. Yeah. Dr. How do we have some sort of hygiene moving forward? Because, again, people who will be facing these committees are counties quite often. Counties, county bosses, you accompany your bosses to these committees. So how do we make some sort of hygiene for better consumption thereafter?
There's one thing that I picked when the president was giving his speech in Homa Bay. The relationship between the independence of judiciary, the legislative arm, and also the executive is something that he called out. He didn't say that, he didn't exonerate the judiciary. And I totally agree that when you look at those three, they have to work in a balance. Yeah. You saw Raila dismissing the Senate that the oversight of the county assembly, the county governments, is the county assembly. Yeah. And that was deliberate. The Senate was supposed to oversight the legislature and the executive. When they lost their power to National Assembly, then they had to find a reason to stick into the idea of ensuring that devolution works. Is this the time to have the conversation that will lead into what my colleagues are saying, some kind of a referendum? I don't know. But to me, when I begin looking at it, I think the president is setting a pace. And I hope that that pace is really going to strengthen judiciary, because he raised the question, for how long will somebody obtain anticipatory orders to continue in the position where there is evidence to continue the prosecution of this individual? At what point would we reach where someone has been alleged to have committed a certain crime and they step aside so that investigation can happen and those matters are concluded within a reasonable time? We have seen this, not now. We have people whose cases have been in court for the last 25 years, and they are still leaders of this country. If this is something that sets the base, where we'll have the responsibility of the public in terms of how they look at the leadership, the institutions that are supposed to be independent. And by the way, I do not also to some extent agree that Controller of Budget and the Auditor General's Office, whatever they present, even through their own oversights, is true reflection of some of those findings that they find they get. Because sometimes some of the Auditor General's reports of the people who come to audit in these counties, they are not sometimes even when I'm not accountant, but when I look at the documents, some of those documents, just the knowledge of being an administrator and run big budgets, I find fault in some of those reports. They are also not very clean in themselves, because the auditors that come to these counties also, they seek some kind of incentives for them to make sure that your report does not, I don't know, look, for example, last year, when the Controller of Budget releases a report of the first quarter of how we have absorbed funds as counties, when you have not received the disbursement for that quarter, so on which basis are you then sending information out there for the public consumption about how money has been utilized? I think this conversation calls all of us, these institutions, to see what would be the best way workable to ensure that public have confidence, we do not accuse each other, so that we can have some kind of robust system that allows people to have confidence in governance in general.
Thank you. Dr. Mbai, somebody's asking, why are you bitter?
I'm passionate. People need to distinguish between the way I talk. I take the point home. Let me tell you why I cannot be bitter. I'm in a very good place.
That's a very good question.
Yes, a very good question and a very good answer.
A very good answer.
A very good answer. Yeah, because I'm passionate about what I believe in.
Another question: when an alligator comes out of water and tells the crocodile is sick, who are you to doubt the story? We all know that statement.
Yes.
From the book of is it A Man of the People or something?
Yes.
Yes, so why are you to doubt the story?
But also, be very doubtful when two people who are eating suddenly begin telling of each other, each other. There's a deeper problem.
Dr. Mbai, we'll be here.
Dr. is a very brilliant mind, but sometimes I'm shocked by,
it shocks me.
No, who matters? Who determines brilliance?
The one on the far right is Daniel Orogo. He's a political governance expert. Dr. Mbai is also a political governance expert. He's a member of Planning Secretary, DCP.
And I'm delivering one term. I used to deliver the plan, in frustrations and humiliation. I'm now delivering one term.
And His Excellency Dr. John Erus, Deputy Governor of Turkana. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We wrap it there. Remember Chaniko KBC. Today we have Sudan and Senegal going head-to-head at... and then Nigeria and Congo. That's going to be an interesting match. Sudan and Nigeria versus Congo. So remember Chan Iko KBC. Yesterday, the full time, Uganda went all 3-3 with South Africa, and Algeria 0-0 with Niger. So that's how it all ended. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the show. And the best person I should thank is you, the viewer, for watching us talk about matters of governance. It matters a lot for us as a nation. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning. I'm Victor. Bye-bye.
Kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
For Zambia on so many occasions. Kenya, though, look to be a hero from the free kick. Mushiri, agonizingly close. Away by goalkeeper Kalumba. Looking for the top corner. And Kalumba says no. Corner Kenya. I can tell you that it's virtually game over for Democratic Republic of Congo now, because Morocco have scored again. Then Louis got his second, and he's now the tournament's leading scorer with 3 goals.
Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
To be honest, nashuku Madagascar, unajua pia itakuja kai iko na pressure in some way. Fans watakuwa hapa, I hope wata increase capacity, but niko sure Friday maboys watachangamka. Vile wamesha promisiwa keja sijui nini ase vile mafans wanabeba Madagascar pole, lakini semis ndo tunafika, at least semis.
Credential affordable waterproofing paint.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports,
drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Kwamba hata kama uling'atuliwa mamlakani, uling'atuliwa kwa njia inayofaa, haukung'atuliwa kwa sababu zingine. Lakini kusema kweli, tukiangalia siasa za Kenya zimefikia mahali ambapo watu wanatumia hizo njia kama njia ambazo zina kwa nia ambayo haikukusudiwa na katiba. Na hiyo ni jambo ambalo lazima tukubaliane kuwa ni jambo baya, na lazima tuangalie hii process yote kwa njia ambayo ina usawa.
Okay.
Yes. Na jambo lingine ambalo lazima tuliangazie wakati tunasema kwamba hiyo impeachment process inaanza, ni kwamba wakati unaangalia process vile inaanza, ni kama tunga hii katiba walikusudia kwamba wanasiasa wangetumia hizo njia za kukandamizana ama kupigana kisiasa, ambayo haikuwa imekusudiwa. Ndio sababu sasa wakasema hii process kuanzishwa lazima ianzie hapa. Wacha wale viongozi wa kila wadi waende wakubaliane na kukuwe na two-thirds majority. Getting two-thirds majority kuweka hiyo motion in the county assembly. Hiyo ikianzia hapo, iwapo hata kama itakuwa siasa na watamngatua katika hicho kiwango, Senate inapata iko na nguvu zaidi, kwa sababu sasa inaketi kwa bunge la kitaifa hapo sasa, na inaleta ule uso wa Kenya yote. Ukikumbuka kwamba haya majimbo ni provincially kile hapo zamani yalikuwa ni zile districts, na they are so localized in that hizo wards ni za watu ambao wanatoka katika eneo moja. Lakini sasa iwapo watakuwa wanatumia hiyo process kusumbua ama kukiuka sheria, Senate sasa iko na jukumu la kuangalia. Na kuna mara mingi sana utaona kama hata wakati Waiguru walikuwa na kesi pale, walienda huko wakamsikiza, wakasema hapa hawajafikia ile kiwango ambayo imesetiwa kwa sheria. Kwa hivyo ni kweli kwamba wanatumia hiyo process kwa njia ifai, lakini kuna njia ambazo sheria imeweka ili wakizitumia kwa njia isiyofaa, hata yule ambaye ametuhumiwa anaweza kusikizwa na anaweza sheria inaweza mtetea kulingana na vile yale mashtaka ambayo amepewa.
Bila shaka mtazamaji, naarifiwa kwamba vile vile pia tunaye ndani ya studio naibu gavana wa Turkana Daktari John Erus. Karibu sana daktari.
Asante sana.
Ndani ya studio. Na labda daktari,
tukianza tu kipindi tulikuwa tunazungumzia kuhusiana na majukumu ya mabunge haya maili, bunge la Senate na pengine lile bunge la Senate na pengine lile bunge la kitaifa ama pia bunge la County Assembly katika kujadili hoja za kumtoa kiongozi mamlakani. Kwa mfano katika kesi ya Kericho, hoja ilipitishwa kwa tafsiri ya theluthi mbili, 2/3 ya waliohudhuria. Je, hii ni tafsiri halali au lazima iwe idadi kamili ya wajumbe wote katika mkao wa kumtoa gavana?
Asante sana kukaribisha mimi kwenye studio. Nimepata wakili akizungumzia swala la mikakati ambazo zimewekwa kwenye katiba katika kumtimua aidha gavana ama viongozi wote ambao wamesha chaguliwa na wananchi.
Ndio.
Lakini mimi naweza kubaliana na maneno mawili kwamba sheria inasema kwamba ikiwa kama kuna sheria imewekwa mikakati ambazo ama vipengele ambazo zinaweza tumika katika kumteua kiongozi.
Ndio.
Na kama hivyo sheria ambazo zimewekwa katika hali ya kumtoa zimetimia ama zina ushahidi wa kutosha, basi County Assembly inatakiwa kuangalia hizo mashtaka kulingana na ushahidi ambao umewekwa, mpangilio ambao umewekwa kwenye katiba. Mimi ukiniuliza hakuna kiongozi ama mimi nikiwa deputy governor ama nikiwa governor nitakubaliana na hoja la kutimuliwa kwenye mamlaka.
Yes.
Iwapo kama kuna ushahidi wa kutosha kwamba mambo hayo pengine yanatumia siasa ama pengine hayana umuhimu wa kutosha. Senate, jambo la kwanza, mimi wakati nilipokuwa mwanafunzi niliweza kufanya kazi kwa social justice sector. Na one of those things yenye tulikuwa tukifanya nikiwa kwa justice and peace ilikuwa ni kuhakikisha kwamba tuko na constitution ambayo inafanya institutions ambazo za serikali ziwajibike. Na wakati tulikuwa tukijaribu kuzungumzia swala la Senate, tulikuwa tunafikiria kwamba ama tulikuwa tunatazamia kwamba Senate ita oversight national government, that is executive and the legislature.
Ndio.
Wakati ambapo under national unity, yani the NCIC Act, viongozi walienda kule Naivasha na katika hali ya kukubaliana waliweza kupea National Assembly nguvu nyingi kushinda Senate. Kwa hivyo Senate ikaachwa kama role yao ni kuhakikisha kwamba devolution inafanyika. Kwa hivyo mimi nakubaliana na kuwa na institution ambayo pia inaweza kuangalia kama arbitrator, kuangalia kama hayo mashtaka yanatimiza sheria ama tu ni mashtaka ambayo yameletwa kwenye siasa ili kumtimua ama kumuondoa kiongozi.
Naam. Labda tukisalia hapo Mheshimiwa Daktari, umesema kwamba unakubali kutimuliwa kwa gavana endapo kuna ushahidi wa kutosha. Je, ushahidi ni nani anafaa aulete? Ni MCAs ama ni wakazi wa lile jimbo?
Kulingana na sheria, mashtaka ya kumteua kiongozi, wananchi wanaweza husika na pia yanaweza kufanywa na viongozi wa County Assembly. County Assembly huwa ina oversight counties. Kwa hivyo katika hiyo oversight yao kuna ripoti nyingi ambazo zinawekwa kwenye mbele za komiti hiyo. Kwa hivyo iwapo kama hizo committees zimekubaliana kwamba sheria haijafanyika vile inatakiwa, sana ushahidi ndio unaweza kutoa haya mashtaka. Mara nyingi utapata kwamba kwa cases nyingi ambazo zimekuja kwa Senate, unapata kwamba process inaweza kuwa haijafanyika vile ambavyo inatakiwa, ama pengine ushahidi sio wa kutosha. Kwa hivyo mambo kama haya kuwa na institution ambayo pia inaweza kusaidia katika hali ya kukupatia haki zako ni muhimu, badala ya kikundi kimoja kuamua kuatoa. Na tulikuwa na case kama ile ugatuzi wa kwanza wa kaunti ya Makueni,
Profesa Kivuza Kibwana.
Kwa hivyo mambo kama hayo yanaweza iwapo kama kungekuwa na utaratibu fulani ambao unaweza kusaidia, hiyo serikali ya kaunti ya kwanza ingekuwa imewekwa under receivership.
Kweli. Shikilia hapo daktari, narudi kwako. Mtazamaji, tunachukua pumziko fupi tu, lakini tutakaporudi tutasonga mbele. Kama nilivyokuambia, hii ni KBC Channel 1, Chan iko KBC, na Ijumaa tusikose kuangalia KBC Channel 1 kwenye mechi ya robo finali ya kwanza kati ya wenyeji Harambee Stars ama ukipenda waite Millionaires dhidi ya kisiwa cha Madagascar. Nachukua pumziko fupi, lakini nitakaporudi Zinga na GMK naendelea, na ndani ya studio tunajadili majukumu ya mabunge mawili kuhusiana na mchakato mzima wa hoja za kuwaondoa viongozi mamlakani, hususan hoja ya kuwatimua magavana. Hili likiendelea, kumbuka hapo jana spika wa bunge la Senate Amason Kingi aliweka katika gazeti rasmi kwamba kesho Jumatano kutakuwa na kikao maalum cha kusikiliza hoja za kumbandua gavana wa Kericho mamlakani. Usicheze mbali, narudi hivi punde.
Kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani, uzuri David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa Chan 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Yosef Mary out on the right side, bringing in a cross from the center. They love to score from there. It's a popular place from which they take the shots. Osama Lamlui with a second goal in today's game and his third one for Morocco. Defensive lapses.
Radio Sauti ya Mke.
Hewani GMK na Zinga, ambapo leo tunaangalia majukumu ya mabunge haya mawili katika utatuzi ama katika swala zima la kuweza kuwabandua hoja za kuwabandua viongozi mamlakani. Na kuna vitu watu tunavizungumza off mic huwa vinapendeza. Tulikuwa tunapiga gumzo kidogo hapa la 10 million na 150 million, lakini mheshimiwa akaniambia tusalie tu na 2.5 million ya Harambee Stars. Okay, tunajiunga naye mheshimiwa Senator mteule Miraji Abdullahi ndani ya studio. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Asante kaka.
Kijibaridi kupiga
sana.
Usijali, ndio hali ya kawaida. Na kama tu ulivyojiunga nasi mheshimiwa Miraje, je, bunge lenu la Senate linapopokea hoja ya kumngoa mamlakani kiongozi, kama vile kwa sasa kesho kuna kikao maalum kusikiliza kesi ya Governor Eric Mutai, je, ni vigezo gani ambavyo mnafaa kuviegemea, ama je, mtatathmini vipi ushahidi ambao umeletwa kwenu ili kuhakikisha kwamba yule governor hafai?
Mwanzo nijitangulize kwa kujitambulisha. Kwa majina ni Bi Miraji Abdullahi, seneta maalum kutoka kule Mombasa. Na nafurahi kuwa katika kikao hiki kwa sababu hata mimi kama seneta nimewahi kukaa katika ile ad hoc committee ambayo iliweza kusikiliza kesi ya kumtimua naibu gavana wa Siaya Oduoli. Na mara nyingi sana huwa tunaona sensation ya zile kesi wakati zinaletwa. Mashtaka ya kwanza ambayo alikuwa anamkabili naibu gavana yule ilikuwa ni gross misconduct. Na tuliletewa kiti ambacho kilinunuliwa kwa kima cha shilingi ya milioni 1.1. Na tuliweza kukiitisha pale katika kamati. Lakini ukweli wa kwamba ni kwamba we have what we call the accounting officers, who are the chief officers in the county government. So wakati unamleta naibu wa gavana kwa madai ya kwamba ametumia mamlaka yake vibaya kwa ununuzi wa kitu ambacho yeye hana mamlaka nayo kikatiba. So mimi naweza kusema ya kwamba tuko na shida na mfumo wa sheria vile ulivyotungwa. Kwa sababu majukumu ya kufanya approvals ya mambo ya pesa ni ya mtu mwingine. Lakini katika standing orders zetu za Senate ama za National Assembly naweza sema ni kwamba sisi tunawasikiza tu vinara katika zile taasisi ambazo wanakuja mbele yetu. Kwa mfano sisi tunasikiza peke yake waziri. Lakini waziri si ambaye ako na mamlaka ya kuweza kuweka approvals ya matumizi ya pesa katika Public Finance Management Act. So mimi naweza kukubaliana na executive na lile gumzo ambalo limeanzishwa. Ni gumzo ambalo limekuja kwa wakati mwafaka ya kwamba kumekuwa na hongo inayopitisha katika mabunge yetu ya Kenya. Nikiashiria ya kwamba jinsi mifumo hata katiba vile inavyosema inatufunga mkono sisi. Hivi sasa tutaambiwa ya kwamba tuliweza labda kumbakisha gavana wa Isiolo ati labda kulikuwa na soko huru, lakini hakukuwa na idhibati yoyote ya kuweza kuonesha ya kwamba session ilifanyika na impeachment motion ilifanyika kule Isiolo. Hakukuwa na ushahidi, na ndio maana kulikuja preliminary objection na sote tukakubaliana ya kwamba huyu mtu hakuna idhibati ya kwamba county assembly ya Isiolo waliweza kukaa na waka-impeach huyu governor. So sisi makosa yetu ni gani? Hata sisi tunaongozwa na mfumo wa sheria. Ni wakati umefika kama tulivyoitwa jana. Maana ile PG ilizungumzia maneno mingi mazuri. Tunaweza kuzungumzia maneno ya NADCO, tukaweza kuzungumzia mapendekezo ya urekebishaji wa katiba, some amendments za katika constitution, lakini hayo yote hayakuzungumzwa kwa sababu sisi ni Wakenya na tunapenda kusikiza kile Wakenya wanataka kusikiza. Lakini hatuko tayari kuyazungumzia yale tunayostahiki kuyazungumzia kama Wakenya.
Si moja la ufisadi.
Ni sawa. Ni muhimu tunapozungumzia ufisadi, lakini tuzungumze kwa mantiki ya kikatiba. Ufisadi inahitaji mikono miwili, wanayepeana na wanayepokea. Na rais amesema he will not only name and shame but atafunga watu.
Okay.
So tukaeni kitako, manake najua rais wangu ni wa kusema na kutenda.
Hata mimi mtazamaji nasubiri hiyo list of shame nione ni kina nani walitia kimiani 10 million wakapitisha law na kina nani waliitisha 150 million kusumbua magavana. Ndani ya studio mpenzi mtazamaji, kama nilivyokuambia, niko naye naibu gavana wa gatuzi la Turkana Mheshimiwa Daktari John Rusi yuko ndani ya studio, na vile vile pia niko naye ndani ya studio wakili ndugu Bosire Bonyi, na niko naye seneta maalum Mheshimiwa Miraji Abdullahi kutoka kule Mombasa, tukizungumzia mchakato mzima. Nikirudi kwako wakili, mara nyingi tunasikia kwamba mahakama imetoa amri ya county assembly kuto proceed na impeachment motion, lakini tunaona county assemblies zinaenda na kufanya hivi. That is number one. Number two, wakati mwingine pia kunatolewa amri ya mahakama kwa bunge la Senate kuzuia kujadili hoja, lakini zinakwenda mbele. Hii inamaanisha nini katika swala zima la sheria?
Ukiangalia kisheria, katiba kwanza inasema kwamba state organs lazima zifanye kazi kwa njia ya kimantiki. Inamaanisha kwamba hazifai kuvurutana, kwa sababu ukiangalia kila state organ iko na jukumu lake. Kwanza judiciary iko na jukumu lake. Ukiangalia kipengele cha 159 inaelezea authority ambayo judiciary iko nayo kuhusiana na hiyo process. At the same time tuko na hata gavana pia, yeye kama gavana akiwa mketi, kama amepigiwa kura na akaingia kama gavana, pia yeye hana majukumu yake ambayo anafanya. Seneti pia iko hapo, ukiangalia pia hiyo iko na majukumu lake. Kuna wale ambao kama mimi ambao tunasema kwamba hiyo process hata ikianza, tunasema kuna umuhimu wa kujirestrain kama judiciary hadi pale ambapo hiyo process imefikia, imemalizika. Kwa sababu ukiangalia hiyo process ikianza, wakati inaanzia at the ward level, ama ikianzia through a petition, ikifika hapo unaweza sema umesimamisha process, lakini hujaelewa mashtaka ni yapi. Hiyo ndio mambo. Na unajua hiyo process na hiyo ushahidi ambayo inaletwa inatoka kutoka kwa institutions zingine. Kumbuka kuna control of budget ambaye pia anakagua vile matumizi ya pesa yanafanyika. Kuna auditor general na yeye pia ambaye anakagua. Kwa hivyo ukisimamisha hiyo process hapo wakati ambapo mashtaka hayajaangaliwa kwa kina, inamaanisha kwamba hata Wakenya hawajaelewa kile ambacho kimeendelea, na hiyo ndio actually sababu kubwa ambayo haya maongezi ya kuhongana inakuja kweli. Iwapo umesema huyu amefanya haya makosa, wacha tufuate hiyo process, akuja aseme mnasema nilinunua kiti hii bei, angalia huyu. Mheshimiwa ameangazia swala ambalo tunasema ni muhimu sana Wakenya waelewe. Impeachment process haikukusudiwa kuwa kitu ambacho unakimbia tu kwa sababu kiti imenunuliwa milioni 1. Hiyo ni ultimate. Ukiangalia hata consequences zinakuja na impeachment process, si kitu ambacho unaweza sema. For instance, kama kiti imenunuliwa na hiyo bei, tunasema the accounting officer, we can even surcharge the accounting officer, and the money goes back to the consolidated funds for further. EACC iko hapo inaangalia hayo maswala. Mambo ya tribalism kwa mfano, NCIC iko hapo. Lakini sasa shida tuko nayo kubwa ni kwamba tumechanganya siasa zetu, tumezichafua, na tunataka kuongelea tu maoni bila kuangalia ukweli. Iwapo wanasiasa watakubaliana kuketi waseme wakati hiyo process inakuja, tuangalie ukweli. Sheria inasema pesa ya wananchi tumike hivi. Iwapo gavana ametumia hiyo pesa vibaya, ndipo sasa atakuwa anashtakiwa kwa hayo maswali.
Okay.
Yes.
Shikilia hapo. Daktari amezungumzia hoja nzuri, na mheshimiwa pia ameigusia kwamba si lazima labda kutaka kumtoa yule mkubwa pale governor ama naibu wake. Labda hata lile kosa limefanywa na chief officer, limefanywa na chief accounting officer, limefanywa labda na waziri katika county. Swali hilo nalizungumziaje?
Mimi nakubaliana na mheshimiwa senator na wakili kwamba kiti cha governor ama deputy governor ni kiti ambacho pia ni executive, lakini pia ni position ya kisiasa. Na sisi tukiwa kwa county tuna kila siku tunakabiliana na vikundi tofauti. Inaweza kuwa ni mrengo fulani wa kisiasa. Kwa hivyo siasa pia hatuwezi kutoa kwa inaweza kuchangia katika hali ya watu kukaa chini na kujaribu kutafuta namna ya kukusumbua katika kupeana huduma kwa wananchi. Mimi nakubaliana na swala moja kwamba sheria imeweka utaratibu na ni ukweli kwamba watu wengine wakijaribu, ukiangalia kitu kama gross misconduct,
yes,
ama kitu kama kwa mfano gross violation of the constitution, corruption, ni ukweli na nakubaliana na rais wakati alipokuwa Homa Bay na Raila Odinga kwamba mara nyingi pia mambo ya kupelekwa kwenye committee za Senate, mara nyingi kwa sababu utapata kaunti moja imeenda kwenye Senate sessions kama mara 8. Na mara nyingi saa zingine unajibu maswali kwa mfano kama audit ni ya 2021 na 2022 na wewe kama gavana umeingia, pengine mwaka huo bado naangalia ile handover report na unajaribu kuestablish systems ambazo unaweza kuweka katika hali ya kutekeleza majukumu yako kama governor. Mimi nakubaliana kwamba kuna committees na mara nyingi kama hizo maswali inahusiana na mambo ya CECs, CECs needs to appear, wanatakiwa kuapia kwenye hivyo vikao kwa sababu hao ndio technical officers ambao wana vitu kama hivyo. Kitu kingine ambacho ninaweza tu kusema kwamba county assemblies nyingi wako pia na capacity ya kuweza kuangalia ripoti nyingi na pia kurecommend. Kulingana na mimi, unajua Senate ilikuwa inatakiwa kuwa na oversight role ya legislature na executive. That is what we were fighting for, tukizingatia katika mambo ya constitution. Na wakati walipoenda Naivasha katika hiyo hali ya compromise na kusikizana, Senate ilikuwa ikawa ina majukumu machache kulingana na vile ambavyo tulikuwa tukizingatia. Ikiwa kama conversation ya mambo ya corruption, mambo ya ufisadi, mpangilio ya broad-based government, na hiyo conversation inaendelea na nadiko na vipengele ambazo zinatakiwa katika kuhakikisha kwamba kuna mzingi wa kutosha katika hali ya oversight.
Ndio.
Tungekuwa tuna recommend kwamba Senate iweze kupewa nguvu ya kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo oversight role yenye tulikuwa tukitazamia kama wananchi katika hali ya hizo kama independent institution ya kuangazia hiyo maneno wanaweza kurudishiwa hata kama ni kwa referendum.
Asante, fair enough. Nikirudi kwako Mheshimiwa Senator Miraji, amegusia swala kwamba wito ulitolewa wakati wa Devolution Conference kwamba Senate hamfai ama muache kusumbua magavana kwa summon kwa appear before nyinyi. Sijui kama senator, kwanza wito unaochukuliaje?
Kwanza nitatangulia kusema kwamba sisi kama bunge la Senate, we are doomed if we do and we are doomed if we don't. Wakati tuna impeach tunasemekana kwamba tumekula hongo, wakati tunaregesha tunasemekana tunakula hongo. Lakini ndani ya nafsi za magavana wao wenyewe wanajua ya kwamba sio sisi tunafanya audit. Auditor General anakuja na queries, anasema hapa tunaona, manake nimekaa katika oversight committee. Nikiingia tu Senate nilikuwa katika CP committee. Na wakati ninasikia baba Raila Amolo Odinga anasema ya kwamba ni wakati MCAs wafanya oversight. MCAs are doing oversight. They similarly have a CP committee and a CPA committee as their assembly, because it is assembly with committees. Na wanaangalia haya yote ambayo tunayasema. Na I think for the Auditor General to pick the queries, pia wao wanashirikiana. There is a starting point and an exit point. Wakati wanaenda kuangalia labda mradi fulani. Kuna katika special committees tulikuwa tunaangalia funding zile, kuna ile migao ambao kuna revolving fund katika counties, kuna institutions kama hospitali, county government wanaweka pesa zao pale. So sisi tunaangalia ule ugavi wa rasilimali ambao wakati sisi tumepeana kwa magavana, hizi pesa tulipeana kwa mradi fulani. Kwanza huyu mtu anaitwa budget control alisema ya kwamba wao wana approve pesa ziende kwa mradi fulani alafu zinakuwa diverted. Hiyo si Senate walisema, na hapo hakuna mlungula tumeitisha. Alafu turudi kwa Auditor General, anatuambia non-revenue water kisheria kwa act yake inasema isi exceed 35%. So when the non-revenue water inakwenda paka 44%, there is element of corruption. Kuna illegal connection na mambo mengine mingi. So when we summon the governors, we don't summon them to which count. We summon them because we want best delivery of services kwa watu wetu, kwa sababu we don't come from another planet. Tunatoka kwa counties, na wakati tunapigana na executive, tunapigana na National Assembly kwamba kima cha pesa kiongezeke kama katiba inavyosema. We don't do it for ourselves. We are not part of the executive. We don't get to say that hii pesa iende mahali fulani ama hii pesa iende wapi. It is the governors and the executive and what they want to do.
Kuna swala moja
na kitu ambacho kinakinzana ambacho mimi nashindwa kuelewa ni kwamba sisi tunaambiwa hawa National Assembly zote kutaka kuingilia hiyo mswada hiyo maneno kuhusiana na mambo ya CDF ya kwamba CDF iende. Mimi am a believer of that, kwamba hiyo fund itafutiwe njia nyingine bado ifikie wananchi, kwa sababu mimi dadangu mkubwa ambaye nimemfuata amesomeshwa na CDF miaka 10 na miaka 4 pale Mbaraki Girls wakati wa Najib Balala. So I know what CDF has done to the people, but then naregea nasema, why is it that tunaambiwa sasa turekebishe katiba tuwape MCAs mgao wa fedha? Kwanza kwa katiba hakuna, kwa sababu majukumu ya mabunge, na mimi I am a believer of that, tuko na majukumu tu matatu: kuwakilisha, kutunga sheria na kuhakikisha rasilimali ya mwananchi wa Kenya inaenda inapostahiki. Jumla ya kuwa wakati tuna oversight tunahitaji rasilimali nyingi, kwa sababu pesa tunazoziangalia pia ni nyingi. Uwezi kuniambia mimi kwa sababu ati ninapata mshahara na ninapata kinaitwa kipadi kidogo mahali, unataka nitumie tena hizo fedha kufanyia kazi serikali. Kuwa mheshimiwa ni kama kufanya kazi nyingine yoyote, na kutaka tufanye kazi yetu ili kuweza kuwafikia ile ruwaza ya katiba yetu. Ni kwamba lazima kuna majukumu mengine tuweze kuwezeshwa kikatiba, sio kimlango wa nyuma, ili kuweza kuyatimiza yale majukumu. Ndugu yangu amesema kaka hapa kwamba tunaitwa mara kwa mara, tunaitwa katika kila kamati kuna majukumu yake. Mimi kama CPIC nitaangalia to the aspect of education, upande wa basari mliweka pesa ngapi na je zilifikia wananchi, na sisi kama CPIC tuliweza kukomesha magavana. Kwa nini mnafanya siasa na rasilimali ya Mkenya? Pesa imegatuliwa ikuje isaidie ECD, isaidie vocational trainings. Why are you diverting the money to national government functions? Munapeana basari kwa secondary schools. It is because inawaelekeza wao vizuri kisiasa kuweza kupata kupendwa na wananchi, lakini sio jukumu lako. Hauwezi kusema kwamba you are being underfunded by a government, then you go back and divert the same functions ambazo are meant for devolution for national government functions.
Mheshimiwa, shikilia hapo, muda unakwenda kweli na mazungumzo ni matamu. Labda kwa dakika moja kabla ku-engage wenzako ndani ya studio, uhisi kwamba pengine tuliharakisha kupitisha katiba kwa sababu mtu anachanganyikiwa. Bado kuna county assemblies ambayo zinafaa ku-oversight governor, na bado pia nyinyi kama Senate mnafaa pia ku-oversight kazi zao. Uone kama kuna mchanganyisho wa majukumu hapa?
Hakuna mchanganyisho wa majukumu. Kwa sababu katiba katika kipengele cha 91 ama 71 kama sikosei, kinazungumzia majukumu ya Seneti, kwamba tutakaa pale tufanye hizo functions tatu ambazo nimesema, na tutakaa pale tuweze kugawanya mgao kwenye ugatuzi, tupeleke hizo fedha, na pia tuweke schedule ya ni vipi hizo pesa zitakuwa zinaenda kwa ugatuzi, na pia kuangalia mandate ya executive. Kama juzi tuliweza kuimpeach kupeana concurrence ya impeachment ya deputy president, na concurrence ya mambo mengi, sheria haziwezi kupita huko National Assembly unless sisi tuziascertain katika Senate.
Wajua kwa nini nimekuuliza hivyo? Juzi tu county assembly ya Kericho mliwaambia kwamba hawakufuata sheria katika kumtoa yule naibu gavana, na kesho tena anarudishwa pale pale.
Acha nikwambie kitu kimoja kakangu. Sheria hutungwa ili kuongoza nchi. Sio sheria ziongoze nchi. Sio hizo ziongozwe na sheria. Hizo sheria tunatunga kwa sababu kuna vacuum mahali. Tunataka hiyo sheria itusaidie, ndio mwingine asipendelewe, mwingine asionewe, tukue katika usawa kama nchi. Lakini wakati tunafika, sheria sasa inaanza kutuongoza sisi, kwa sababu sasa sisi wenyewe kile kitu tunataka hatuwezi kukiafikia kwa sababu sheria imetupinga. Why do we have such laws? It is time we amend the constitution and we make laws favorable.
Hapo ndio ulikuwa nataka hapo kwa
wananchi tunaona wizi wa gavana wanafanya.
Asante Senator. Asante. Hapo pa amendment ulikuwa nataka, lakini ushapazungumza. Dakika mpenzi mtazamaji 11 zimesalia iweze kutimia saa 3. Unaendelea kusikiliza KBC Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya, na vile vile pia mpenzi mtazamaji unaendelea kutizama runinga ya KBC Channel 1. Ndani ya studio niko na wakili, niko na naibu gavana na niko na seneta. Tunazungumzia kuhusiana na majukumu ya mabunge haya katika kupitisha hoja za kuwabandua mamlakani viongozi, hususan magavana na vile vile pia manaibu magavana. Je, ni mchakato sahihi wa kisheria ama kuna mlungula ama ni kujipigia debe kisiasa? Ndio swala tunalojadili. Nikirudi kwako daktari, kwa haraka upesi, dakika zimesalia chache. Je, mwananchi wa kawaida anaweza kushirikishwa vipi lakini tusikiuke sheria katika swala hili la kumuondoa mamlakani gavana? Kwa sababu haki, mtu alichaguliwa na watu 300,000, 200,000, alafu hajaondolewa na watu 12. Surely?
Mimi nakubaliana na senator kwamba tuwe na oversight institutions na pia tusijaribu kuweka amendment kwa constitution ikiwa kama unajua make an amendment to the constitution inaweza fanywa na wananchi, inaweza fanywa na wabunge, na kulingana na mimi kuna amendments ambazo sio lazima iende kwenye katiba. Ikiwa kama Senate ama National Assembly wanaweza kukaa chini na kupitia standing orders yao na ile mpangilio yenye wamewekwa katika hali ya kuweka changes ambazo sio lazima iende kwenye katiba, kwa sababu threshold ya hata amendment ya hiyo constitution, pengine wakili atazungumzia baadaye, yuko juu zaidi. Inaweza kuwa even frustrating kwa sababu but pia tuwezi kutumia county assemblies, kwa sababu you say the most institution kubwa ambayo katiba ili create ni county assemblies, na tuwezi, na wao wanaweza kufanya uamuzi ambao inaweza kuwa favorable na iwe supported na both houses of government. Pia hiyo abuse hatuwezi kubali, kwa sababu ukiangalia BBI for example, kama sio koti kusimamisha, tungekuwa kwenye mfumo mwingine sasa hivi ambapo pengine hatujui ingekuwa namna gani. Kwa hivyo tukiwa tunaangalia hiyo maneno pia hiyo those are the things, kwa sababu tuko na historia. Nikirejelea kwa ile swala la nani ana mamlaka ya kumtoa gavana, wananchi wamepewa nafasi yao kikatiba, lakini ukiangalia it is not very pronounced kwamba wanaweza kuanzisha hiyo kivipi. Kuna hiyo process, wanaweza pia wao wenyewe kupetition, lakini hata hiyo kupetition lazima kuwe na mzingi. Na mimi nakubaliana pia na senator kwamba oversight ni oversight. That's why sisi tukiwa kwenye ma-counties hatutaki tu Senate iwe tu inaangazia maneno tu ya counties, jinsi ambavyo zinatakiwa kufanya kazi zao. Ukiona county kama Turkana, CDF is not enough kusomesha watoto, na sasa hivi shule zikifunguliwa, wale watu ambao wanakuja kwa ofisi yangu ama wanaenda kwa governor kutafuta usaidizi ya watoto kwenda shule ni wengi kushinda tunaona kama ni muhimu sisi kuweka hizo pesa katika hali ya kusomesha watoto, kwa sababu CDF is not enough. Hata kwa constituency yangu yenye mimi nimetoka, kwa hivyo kama kuna upungufu fulani kwenye sheria ni lazima tutafute na tukae kama hizi institutions, tukae chini tuone tutasaidia kivipi. Kwa sababu unless ukipitishwa kwamba masomo yatakuwa ya bure mpaka university wanafunzi wachukue loans huko. But ikiwa kama bado tuko na karo ya kulipa ama pesa ambazo tunalipa, hata hiyo capitations, ukiona zile hela ambazo wanafunzi wanatakiwa kulipa hata baada hiyo capitations, wazazi wengi especially kwa county kama Turkana they cannot afford. Kwa hivyo shule inakuwa muhimu kwetu katika hali ya kuchangia national government, kwa sababu hizo system zote ni serikali moja, ni ile tu.
Fair enough governor. Nirudi kwako wakili, tukimalizia muda wangu na kwenda, je, unahisi Senate kushiriki katika impeachment process ni responsibility, ni uwajibikaji, ama wanaingilia kazi ya serikali za county?
Kusema kweli, na mimi naangalia haya mambo, naona ni kwamba tuko na viongozi ambao wako na nostalgia ya mahali tumetoka. Pre 2010 ndio kulikuwa na mambo mengi sana ambayo yalikuwa yanafanywa kiholela. Ukiangalia katiba ya saizi tunasema it is value based. We are talking about a threshold that has not been achieved. We are talking about integrity. Tunaongelea kuhusu honesty, for instance. Ukiangalia hizo vitu zote zinafaa kuinform vile tunafanya majukumu yetu. Shida tuko nayo ni kwamba tunataka kufanya kila kitu vile tulikuwa tumezoea. Kwa mfano, mambo ya katiba saizi inaongelea mambo ya education. Inasema it is compulsory, free and compulsory to everyone. The best way to implement that, it's not through bursaries, for instance. The best way is to make it free for all. Ile mtoto anaamka anasema anaenda shule na anapewa hata kitabu, anasoma, anarudi nyumbani. Lakini tukisema kwamba governor ama senator ama MP ama MCA, tumeona basari imefanya kazi mzuri, MCA pia yeye apewe basari. Hiyo sasa tunataka turudi nyuma mahali ambapo tumetoka. Kitu ambacho iwapo hizi institutions zote zinataka kufanya kazi ipasavyo, inahitajika kwamba tukubaliane, public interest demands that tukubaliane hizi pesa zenye zinapewa watu kiholela. Unapewa pesa kwa mfuko yako, ndio unaenda kuhesabu utumie tofauti fulani ndio ulete useme hawa umewapatia hii pesa, umewapatia hii pesa. Haipaswi kwa hivyo. Tukubaliane kwamba wacha hiyo pesa iwekwe mahali pamoja na iende ifuatwe. Na majukumu hayo hakuna vile wewe unapewa pesa utumie na wewe ukuje kuuliza mwingine alitumiaje pesa. Hiyo ndio shida tuko nayo kubwa. Ukiangalia hawa walianza kusema hata kina mama pia wanahitaji affirmative action fund. Ukiangalia watakuja kusema hata MCAs wanataka affirmative action fund. Ukiangalia pia governor pia wanasema wanataka kupeana bursaries. Ukienda kwa president pia anataka kupeana empowerment. Ukiangalia hizo vitu zote unapata korogeka kabisa na hapo ndio hivyo Supreme Court ilisema kwa hiyo kesi ya CDF. Ilisema kwamba katiba tuko nayo saizi inapatia kila mtu majukumu. Shida tuko nayo ni wanasiasa ambao wanaachilia ama wanataka kutumia mchakato ambao hatuna kwa sasa.
Shikilia hapo. Yes. Mtazamaji, mada ni nzuri, muda haunasi, lakini nimesalia na dakika 2 tu, labda kwa dakika moja kila mtu nimpatie aweze kumaliza. Nikianza na Senator, going forward tunafaa kufanya nini kuepuka masuala kama haya ambayo tunayaona yanajirudia? Yalianza Makueni na Profesa Kivutha Kibwana, yakaenda Embu na Martin Wambora, yakaenda Meru na Kawira Mwangaza, sasa kwa mara ya pili yameenda Kericho, na natumai pia labda Isiolo itarudi tena.
Endapo tunataka kweli kupeleka taifa mbele, ni muhimu sana tuifuate sheria vile ilivyo, na kama tunahisi sheria inatukwaza kuachieve mambo fulani, basi ni muhimu tukae tujiulize maswali sisi wenyewe kama taifa na tuamue tutafanya nini. Lakini tutaendelea kunyosheana vidole kwa sababu kuna watu wanataka tu kuvunja sheria ili waweze kuifanya ibend kwa vile kile kitu ambacho wanataka. Hata umemsikia gavana hapa amesema tu wazi ya kwamba kama kuna uhitaji ni lazima sisi tupeane. No, hakuna upungufu wa uhitaji. We have a very clear constitution. Na mimi nitawaambia Wakenya, let us strengthen our institution. Let us strengthen the institution of oversight so that we do oversight. Let us strengthen the mwananchi with civic education ndio wajue, and let us tuache tuwaeleze wananchi public participation. Let us inasema kwa wakili tuwajulishe wa Kenya threshold ya kufanya public participation ni nini. Kwa sababu mambo mengi yanaendelea katika taifa letu kwa kigezo cha kwamba tuliita wananchi na wametukubalia, lakini bado unasikia wananchi wanasema hatukuhusishwa. So if we get right the public participation, do civic education to our citizens, and we strengthen our institutions, then we are good to go as a country.
Asante Senator Miraj Abdullahi. Daktari John Erus kwa sekunde 30.
Mimi Senate lazima wapewe majukumu ya ku-oversight zaidi, especially National Assembly and County Assembly, na pia kuwe independent katika hali ya masuala ya impeachment. Jambo la pili ni kwamba wananchi, ukiuliza wananchi kwa mambo ya public participation, wao wanasema wahusishwe kwa sababu wao wanasema kwamba yale ambayo wao wenyewe wamependekeza huwa haipatikani kwenye documents ambazo zinatolewa katika kufanya uamuzi wa ugawaji wa pesa, ama hawaoni kama maoni yao huwa yanazingatiwa. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu kuendelea strengthen citizen formation katika hali ya civic education.
Asante sana Daktari John Erus, Deputy Governor Turkana. Thank you very much. Wakili, your final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts actually kile ambacho naomba wa Kenya ni kwamba we need to strengthen accountability. We need to strengthen accountability. Na for that to happen, lazima tuhakikishe kwamba watu wana information ambayo inahusiana na uongozi hapa Kenya. Kweli kuna watu wengi wanaeneza uvumi ambao unapotosha wa Kenya na inafanya watu wanakuwa na joto mingi ambayo haifai. Misinformation inakuja kwa sababu labda kuna information haijapeanwa. Na wanasiasa wakubali kwamba institutions lazima ziachwe zifanye kazi vile ipasavyo. Tukifanya hivyo tutakuwa tuko salama na tutaona Kenya ikisonga mbele. Nashukuru sana.
Bila shaka mtazamaji, ya kuzungumzwa ni mengi, lakini muda umetupa kisogo, lakini bado tutajadili mengi zaidi. Kumbuka katika kongamano la ugatuzi juzi Homa Bay, Rais Daktari William Ruto alikubaliana kwamba sasa county assemblies kuna vitu fulani ambavyo watavipata moja kwa moja, si paka kupitia kwa mikono ya magavana. Tunataka kuona je, picha hii itakwenda vipi? Ya kuzungumzwa mpenzi mtazamaji ni mengi sana, ila tukukukumbusha ni kwamba Speaker wa Bunge la Seneti Mheshimiwa Amason Jeffa Kingi hapo jana katika gazeti rasmi la serikali alitangaza kikao maalum kesho Jumatano kujadili hoja ya kumwondoa mamlakani gavana wa Kericho Daktari Eric Mutai. Je, kesho Senate kutaendaje? Fuatilia haya yote kupitia KBC Channel 1, na kama nilivyokuambia Chan iko KBC. Niwashukuru wageni wangu kwa kuja hapa ndani ya studio. Asante sana Senator Miraj. Senator Miraj, mimi ni shemeji yangu mtazamaji, ameolewa kwetu Likoni na mama yake ni shabiki sugu wa Radio Taifa, najua saizi anasikiliza. Asante vile vile pia daktari kwa kuja ndani ya studio. Na asante sana wakili kwa kuja ndani ya studio. Asanteni sana waelekezi wangu upande wa redio, upande wa runinga. Asanteni sana mafundo wa mitambo upande wa redio, upande wa runinga. Na shukrani sana juhudi kubwa sana zako Omoi Masila, Dennis Chisaka na vile vile pia Nancy Kemto. Leo mmekwenda mbio inahitajika. Mimi naitwa Rashid Momkondo, kwa herini kwa sasa. Chan iko KBC.
We are real people who give real care. Visit www.definiteassurance.com or email info@definiteassurance.com for more information, or contact 0708-247-247 or 0788-247-247. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. Je, uko nao?
With Yosef Mary out on the right side, bringing in a cross from the center. They love to score from there. It's a popular place cross from which they take the shots. Osama Lamlui with a second goal in today's game and his third one for Morocco. Defensive lapses.
Goal separates the sides. Bushiri, great little run, thought about the shot, pulled it back twice, and then freed up a little bit of space for himself. Ogam, Bushiri spotted it, picked out his man. 27,000 tickets were limited to security concerns in the last couple of matches. Ryan Ogam, reliving that moment in which he delivered again. This time for his country, as he did against Morocco.
Mimi hutumia mbolea inayoitwa Elgon Dhabiti DAP kwa upanzi wa mimea yenye afya bora. Halafu natumia mbolea ya Dhabiti CAN ama Dhabiti Urea kwa ukuaji wa mimea bora. Hii imenisaidia kupata mavuno mengi nikilinganisha na siku za hapo mbeleni.
Mbolea ya Elgon Dhabiti inapatikana kwa viwango vya kilo 10, 25 na kilo 50 kote nchini. Elgon Kenya Limited.
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu letu.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Dibengo niko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama PDG, ma deep state pia vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, stesheni ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
Praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Tim Mwangi, and I want to invite you for a life-changing, transformative show.
I was blinded and thrown to the floor on my knees, just like Saul.
Conversations. Gen Z ni nani? E-boldness mnatoa wapi?
Kuna mentality fulani yenye inakujenga, si a rebellion really, but ni ya kuquestion system.
Engagements that are life-changing and provocative.
When you are young, your core business should be to create value in yourself.
Join me, DJ Andy C, bringing to you Kingdom Vibe, full of gospel bangers.
Join us for Angaza Show.
Every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Only on KBC Channel 1.
Elimu ni taa, gizani uzaga.
Elimu ni bahari isiyokauka zinge.
Karibu katika sanaa ya Kiswahili, bahari yenye kina kirefu.
Sote tumeandika, hii kweli ni balaa.
Bila shaka tunazama na tukiibuka vipaji, talanta mbalimbali ndani ya sanaa ya Kiswahili.
Nina neno kwa vijana, mihadarati na pombe, bila madhara mabaya.
Kuna bunge la mwanafunzi, uchambuzi wa vitabu na kulizamia swala zima la fasihi.
Mchimba shimo huingia mwenyewe.
Kwa hivyo unasoma dondoo, alafu unabaini ni fani gani ambayo tunajitokeza.
Ipate chemsha bongo, bila tafadhali wala kibali.
Na si hayo tu mtazamaji.
Kumbuka, ni sanaa ya kipekee. Tuchangamkie Kiswahili,
tufurahie sanaa.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that we will be talking about dyslexia, and we actually posed a question to you just to get to understand how much you know about dyslexia. And right now, it has come to that time where we get to delve into the conversation and get to understand dyslexia and neurodiversity and inclusion, and how inclusion looks like for people living with dyslexia. And with me on set, I will begin with a lady. We have Esther Mushiri Wamai. Esther is the founder and CEO of Bloom Dyslexia Center, as well as Bloom Out. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Vivian.
All right, right next to Esther, we have Daniel Sanoe. Daniel Sanoe is the Deputy Director Programs at KBC. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vivian.
It's a pleasure to have the both of you here so that we can just get to spread the awareness on matters dyslexia and how inclusion, matters education looks like for people who live with dyslexia and other neurodiversity conditions. That's the word, conditions. Yeah, so welcome. Now, how about we begin with just defining it, you know, for the listeners who are not familiar with these terms, how would you define neurodiversity and where does dyslexia come in into that spectrum?
Okay. Thank you very much, Vivian. I think that's a very good start for this conversation, just to unpack and demystify this big term, neurodiversity, which is a pretty new term, so most of our viewers may not be conversant with it. But basically what neurodiversity refers to is variations in the brain function and how the brain processes information. So for people that we say they are neurodivergent, their brain structure is more or less the same like everybody else. They still have the two hemispheres, the left and the right. But now the function of the brain is where there is a difference. So we basically say it's neurological differences or how the brain functions. So their brain functions a bit different from the typical brain. And I don't want to say normal brain so that it doesn't look like theirs is abnormal. So it's just that variation. And it encompasses different conditions like autism, dyslexia, ADHD, we have others we call dysgraphia, dyspraxia, but the most common one are the dyslexia, autism, and ADHD. So basically, when it comes to dyslexia, which we say is a neurodiverse condition, or it's a neurological condition, it is, as you say, it is in the makeup of the brain, how the brain processes information. So dyslexia is a learning disability. And since learning disability is an umbrella term, so we say dyslexia is a specific learning disability that is language-based. And it has got to do with how the brain processes, and especially written information. And therefore, the characteristics of dyslexia are struggles to learn to read, struggles learning to spell. If you're struggling to read, you're most likely going to struggle with comprehension. And if you're also struggling with spellings, then your writing also becomes a problem. So that's the hallmark of dyslexia, although it has also other underlying or what we call co-occurring conditions. It can come with attention issues, a bit of ADHD. It can also come with memory issues. It also, so like maybe for our viewers, at a very young age, when a child joins schools, so the symptoms or telltale signs of dyslexia could be a child confusing the look-alike letters, like the B and Ds, interchanging or reversing them, the P's and the Q's, even the numbers, the reversals. So you find that numbers like number 3, number 7, instead of facing left, they reverse them and they face right. Then basically, if the child is struggling to learn the sounds or even the letters of the alphabet, but these days they don't learn the letters of the alphabet first. So they're learning the sounds, the A, the B, the K, the D, because that's where learning to read all starts. So if a child has significant struggle in the brain processing those letters, from letters to sounds, then the child will have problem with reading, from something we call blending to decoding words. Yes.
Very well explained.
Thank you.
You know, and even just to you, Mr. Daniel, from what she's gotten to explain to us, you know, even how do you get to draw the line between your child has a delay in maybe comprehending different things, or when it comes to reading, and it is a condition? Where do we draw the line between it's just a delay in this and this is actually dyslexia?
Thank you, Vivian. Allow me to just loop in a little bit before I answer your question to what Esther said. I totally agree that the term neurodivergent is fairly new term. And because I'm a teacher, allow me to give you just a little background. Around 1998, somebody called Judy Singer, an Australian sociologist, coined that term, the term neurodivergent. And what she was saying is, no brain is similar to another. Not even a single one. The way our fingerprints are, no fingerprint is similar to another. Similar to the brain, no brain is similar. So there is no normal brain. Absolutely. And I agree the way she brought it up. There is no normal brain. So we can say, this person has got a normal brain, you have got an abnormal brain. Not at all. So they are just different brains. Neurodivergent, we are just different. And therefore the term comes up. Neurodivergent in the way we understand things. Now, back to your question. Essentially, when, for example, let me use children because I'm a teacher. When kids get to school, there could be challenges brought about by poor teaching. Poor teaching. For example, if the kids arrive at PP1 and somebody is supposed to make them learn that a letter has got an associated sound. A letter has got an associated name. For example, letter B, a symbol B has got a name B, but a sound B. Therefore, there are three things to bring in together. If that teacher does not bring it well up to the children at their level, and even combine those letters to form words or combine sounds so that then you can read. For example, if you combine the sound P or letter P, letter I, and letter G, then you have got the word pig. If that teacher does not bring it out well in the children, step by step, and teach them how to combine letters to form words, teach them how to combine sounds so that then they can read a whole word, then you can cause problem in the children. That one is not neurodivergent.
Absolutely.
It is a problem as a result of the environment. Therefore, you accuse the teacher that there is a problem here, you didn't teach it well. If that one is sorted out, and the child will not say gip instead of pig. You see, if a child is not taught well how to read, then they could end up misreading. And a word like elephant, they can easily read it as effluent. A word like dog, they can easily read it as God. If you don't teach the children well, then you cause a problem. That one is not neurodivergent. If proper instruction is given to those children, they overcome it very easily. And even at PP1, PP2, when well taught, can even read a newspaper without much difficulty. But if a child has got a different formation of their brain, and therefore their functioning is different, therefore it is neuro, it is anatomical, then there will be a persistent challenge in overcoming those problems. Therefore, that is the difference between neuro and just environmental issues.
So maybe for a parent who's watching us and probably they have an issue with how, with their child's comprehension of things, they feel that they're delaying, you know. So how do we get dyslexia or any neurodivergent condition diagnosed? Do we need to go to hospital for it? Do we just need a speech therapist to do that? How to go about that?
Okay, a very good question. And maybe just to elaborate on my introduction, that I'm also a teacher, just like Daniel, special education background, specializing in learning disabilities, specifically dyslexia. And on top of that, I'm also a specialist assessor. And that now brings us to your question on how can a parent tell that their child has dyslexia? Because as Daniel has rightly put it, there are many things there are many factors that would make a child not learn. And so it is important that we are able to distinguish between environmental barriers or even other developmental conditions or delays that may impede learning and dyslexia. And so for dyslexia, as we've said, it's a brain-based condition. And probably maybe we need to define what dyslexia is and what dyslexia is not. And also try to bust a lot of myths and misconceptions that come with dyslexia. So Daniel has already said that poor instructions or mal-instructions can result to a child having significant struggles in learning. So we say dyslexia is not as a result of a hearing problem. So if we rule out that the ears are okay, that's not dyslexia, because a hearing loss, whether profound or partial, could cause learning. Dyslexia is not as a result of a sight or vision problem. So if you rule out that the eyes are okay, that's not dyslexia. Dyslexia is not lack of educational opportunities. So for our grandparents who never went to school, if they can't read English, that's not dyslexia. Yes, and another very important one, that myth that we need to bust here is that dyslexia is not an intellectual disability. So it is not as a result of low IQ. If anything, dyslexics have between average to above average IQ, 70 and above. And we'll look at the strengths of dyslexics later. We will actually quote very successful and famous people with dyslexia. So,
on that note, allow me to just cut you short a bit, take a commercial break, and then we'll be back to continue with the conversation. Don't go too far.
Kenya's first tintable waterproof in paint.
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu Letu.
vitabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
They say the art without art would just be, get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
When the sun rises, so does the sound of praise. Every weekend, join us on a spiritual journey filled with soul-stirring music, powerful testimonies, and the true heart of worship. From Kenya's most anointed voices to the new generation of gospel ministers, Worship Experience brings you the atmosphere of heaven right into your home. Don't miss Worship Experience every Saturday and Sunday, only on KBC Channel 1. Worship Experience, uplift your spirit. Connect with God.
Thank you for staying with us, and we get to continue with this really, really important conversation that we're having today, which is all about neurodiversity and dyslexia as well. Now, before we took that break, you were just explaining to us how to be able to distinguish whether one has dyslexia or not, and you had really put it down really well, you know. If you may just continue.
Okay, very well. So we had just looked at what dyslexia is not, and I was at that point of that dyslexia is not an intelligence problem. If anything, they have average to above average intelligence. So when you tick all those boxes and the child still has a persistent and consistent struggles in learning to read, especially learning to read, the literacy skills, which are the reading, writing, spelling, comprehension, then and the child is in the same environment just like all the other children, all the peers who are progressing very well in learning to read, but this one has all those struggles, and the struggles are persistent, they are consistent despite even the interventions, then that is already a red flag that the child could have a learning challenge or a learning disability that needs to be assessed. So how then do you tell? So our advice to teachers or parents, and especially teachers, because they are the ones on the front line, they are the ones teaching. And at the preschool, where the children are already learning the sounds, we call it phonological awareness. And if a teacher, you realize there's that child who has that consistent struggle. But when it comes to the oral language skills, the communication, the child is very expressive. They are very articulate. They are very eloquent, maybe save for a few words here and there probably where they could mispronounce as Daniel was trying to explain. But when you look at the intelligence of the child, they are very self-aware. They can reason, they have thinking skills, but yet there is that discrepancy between what you see in this child and how they are performing in reading. So that's already a red flag, that there could be an underlying specific language-based learning disability like dyslexia. And at that point, it is important that that child is flagged for assessment. So at the very early age, we talk of screening. And right now, we have screening tools or tests that can assess or identify dyslexia as early as 3 years. So the latest dyslexia test in the market, we are calling it test of dyslexia, assesses from 3 years, and the test ceiling is 90 years. So 3 to 90 years, you can accurately diagnose dyslexia using that tool. And so once the child is referred for assessment, so we have Kenya Institute of Special Education where Daniel works. It's the government and the National Assessment Center. That's a place where a parent could take a child for assessment, education function assessment, and I'm sure Daniel will talk more about it. But we also have private assessors like myself and others who also assess and diagnose dyslexia. So a teacher could only speculate that there's a challenge based on the information and the data they already have about how the child is assessing, or what we call the baseline. But now the diagnosis or the assessment has to be done by specialists who are already trained and to diagnose, and not just to diagnose, and also to prescribe what's the way forward, because that's the most important thing, that once a child is found to be dyslexic or have any other neurological condition, how are the interventions? How will this child be supported? And in the context of education, we are looking at inclusive education. What kind of accommodations and reasonable adjustments do the teachers and the schools have to make to ensure that this child does not only survive in the education system, but also thrive, because they have the potential to do so if well supported.
All right. Yes. And we'll get to the interventions. But before we do that, I would love for Daniel to get to pick from what you talked about, matters assessment, and the role of KBC. So let's talk about the actual role of the Kenya Institute of Special Education in all of this.
Thank you, Vivian. Kenya Institute of Special Education is an agency of the Ministry of Education, set up to specifically do several functions. One of the key functions is assessment of children with special needs and disabilities. Allow me to differentiate special needs and disabilities.
Go ahead.
A disability could be a limitation in functioning. For example, dyslexia, which could be neurological. A special need may not be a disabling condition. It may be a gift or a talent. You're gifted, you are talented, then it's a special need, because you need to be educated differently in order to actualize your potential. So then we say special needs and disabilities, because it's a whole spectrum of diversity of people. That is one key function. And recently, the country has told KBC to ensure that there is assessment across the entire country, beyond the counties, to the sub-county level. So we are gearing up to ensure that we reach what we would call in our national language mashinani. We reach all the way to the sub-county level and even to the village to look out for those kids, be they kids with the dyslexia, with the visual impairment, with hearing impairment, and bring them out, and even inform their parents of opportunities that are available for these children in the rural areas and beyond. That is one function of this institution called KBC. Another one is training of teachers in special needs education. The teachers who serve the special schools you hear are teachers trained in KISE. Obviously, also other institutions do, but the premier government institution for training in special needs education is KISE. And when you come to training, then now you specialize and say, I'm trained in visual impairment, I'm trained in hearing impairment, and you can also be trained in inclusive education, so that you are sent to a school, you can serve every child without limitation. Another key function of KISE is production and supply of assistive devices and technologies. Currently, the Institute is setting up a factory. It has been a small unit for production, but currently, through the guidance of the President of the country, the Institute is constructing a devices production factory for it to be able to supply assistive devices required by children with special needs and disabilities in the entire school system, and where possible, even beyond. You know what the government is saying is, don't supply devices to the school, to be owned by the school. Supply devices to be owned by the children. So that if a child is visually impaired and moves from primary school to maybe junior school and senior school, let them move with their device. There are devices that are personal. A hearing aid is a personal device. You cannot tell a child, now because you are exiting primary school, kindly leave the hearing aid behind, so that another child will come and use it. Or a child who is visually impaired, kindly leave the braille machine as you exit to be used to. They are personal devices. Crutches, wheelchairs, they are personal. You cannot tell a child, you are now leaving primary school, kindly leave the wheelchair behind and you'll get it wherever you go. So the country is saying, can KISE produce sufficient devices? Let us scale it up and produce enough to supply to all the children who need them. That is another very key function of KISE, among others. And obviously research in special needs and disabilities is a key function.
Okay. Even as we get to talk matters, interventions, and specifically looking at inclusion, because that is the most important thing, right? Making sure that it is inclusive, you know, just how can schools better support, you know, children with dyslexia? Because as you very well put it, they are not mentally challenged in any way. You know, their IQ level is okay, you know, at par with every typical brain. Yes. That's the right word to use. You got it. Yes, every typical brain. So, so just how can schools be in line with the inclusion that we're talking about?
Okay. Yes, and I think that's our biggest struggle as a country, and that's our weakest link, because we are saying dyslexia or other neurological conditions are school problems because they relate to learning. But unfortunately, as a country, and especially when it comes to the neurological conditions, I think that's an area that we are lagging behind. We are still playing catch up, because I feel there's a gap in our teacher training system, education system, because most teachers will tell you that in their teacher training, maybe there was a small component of disabilities and special needs, or even learning disabilities, but the conditions like dyslexia, dysgraphia, autism, they are not explicitly mentioned or even taught to teachers who will end up teaching in our regular or mainstream schools. So even if there's a mention, very small, I mean, it's a very small component within their training. And therefore, we are graduating teachers from our teacher training institutions who have no capacity or full capacity to support learners with dyslexia and other neurological conditions. On the other side, KISE and other institutions that are training teachers in special education, including inclusive education, unfortunately, most of these teachers end up teaching in special schools. Maybe a very small percentage will end up in our regular mainstream schools. So what does that mean to that dyslexic child then who is in our regular school. And maybe just also to take us back and even talk about the statistics, the prevalence of dyslexia. Dyslexia, we are saying 1 in 5 people have dyslexia. So 1 in 5 children in a class have dyslexia. So a class of 40 has 8 dyslexic kids, with a teacher who, first of all, has never even heard the name dyslexia. So if they haven't even heard the name dyslexia, how are they going to support a learner who is dyslexic? Because as Daniel has rightly put it, just like the assistive devices he's mentioning, the hearing aids, the wheelchairs, the crutches. So when it also comes to intervening for a child with dyslexia or a learning challenge, the intervention is also highly individualized, highly personalized. In fact, they work with a document we call an IEP, an individualized education program. So after the assessment, after the diagnosis, and it has been established that this child has dyslexia, then we look at how dyslexia has impacted the learning of this learner. So from the struggles in reading, writing, the attention span, the memory span, and even maybe the self-esteem, which borders on mental health issues of people living with a condition that they are struggling with, that they are not being understood, it hasn't been recognized, it's not identified, it's not supported. So of course there are all those other secondary consequences. And therefore, for this child to be supported, the learning has to be highly individualized so that you target the needs of this child. And because we've said dyslexia is a literacy challenge, it's how the brain learns the literacy skills, then it means that we cannot teach this child the way we are teaching every other child how to learn. We have to teach this, we have to adopt something we call structured literacy, what Daniel was trying to explain. So from letters identification to sounds, then to combining those sounds to reading. So it's an approach that is informed by something called the science of reading. And because this brain is taking time to process, so it tells you that the process is going to be a very slow process. It is very individualized, and it can't happen within the 40 minutes in class. So at some point, this child has to be withdrawn or pulled out from the rest for this extra intervention. So unfortunately, our schools don't have that kind of support. It is there in the international schools, it is there in the premium private schools, but you can imagine in our public schools or maybe other schools that are under-resourced, because the person to do this kind of intervention is not the regular teacher. It is the teacher that Daniel is training at KISE, but probably that resource is not available in that school. So what then happens is that these children, most of them are just falling through the cracks because we are teaching them not the way their brain learns. And we say, let's teach them how their brain learns, not how we want them to learn. Then there's something we call assistive technology. He's just talked about it, because if today my eyes have a problem seeing, I wear glasses, that's technology, and the glasses will enable me to read better. So if my brain is struggling to read, to process written information because of dyslexia, how about then converting that text, the print text, to audio, so that I can still learn what the text is all about, and I'm able to apply that. So we have, again, now the assistive technology coming in as an intervention, in addition to what the teachers are already trying to support. Extra time. We've said the brain processes information is slower than the typical brain. So an assignment or homework that is taking others 10, 20 minutes, this one may need some extra time for that. So it's just simple things like those ones. And of course, even just encouraging this child, because one of the things the dyslexics will tell you, and this is across the world, is that because of the misunderstanding that comes with the condition, because it's an invisible disability. I can't look at you, Vivian, and as much as I'm a trained assessor, and say that you have dyslexia. I'll have to diagnose or interact with you and see how you're reading, how you're writing, how you're spelling, and maybe just speculate but confirm that with a diagnosis. So, and then we say these guys, their IQ is above average. So most people will misconstrue that these people are lazy, they're stupid. They've been called all those derogatory terms by people who don't understand that it's a problem. So I think that we need to do more of the awareness. We need probably to relook at our policies, the teacher training policies, so that we ensure that each school has teachers who are trained in this area and they are able to support these children alongside the other children, because kids with dyslexia should not be in a special school. They are not material for special school. So they can thrive very well in an inclusive school, but of course the school has to have what we call neurodiversity affirming practices, and it's all those things that I have mentioned.
All right. And I would love Daniel to also get into that a bit. What are some of the changes from your point of view that you would love to see in how society in general, you know, approaches, you know, children or people with dyslexia and other neurodiversity conditions?
That's a good one. First of all, allow me still to loop back to what Esther said about teacher training and dyslexia. As an institute, we have got a curriculum we implement, which has got key units on how to teach children how to read, how to comprehend, and all those kind of things. And they are taught across board to anybody doing special needs education. But I agree, many of them get to special schools. Nevertheless, government has also put measures in place to ensure that all teachers, and majority of them trained in inclusive education and learning disabilities, which is an umbrella term where dyslexia falls under, are basically posted to the general school system and not essentially to the special schools. Therefore, we still have got these teachers deliberately posted to the schools where a lot of these children are found. So the government is very aware of that, and it is putting those measures in place. To your question, obviously, persons with dyslexia are just any other person in society and in the school system. But within the schools, nothing replaces a good teacher at all. If we would bring in teachers and essentially skill them enough to understand the basis of dyslexia, to differentiate that a child who is dyslexic is not a child who is a poor reader, or is not a child who is intelligent. Because the perception of the old teacher, you see, we have got a new generation of teachers anyway, who approach things differently. The perception of the old teacher, who may be petering out of the system right now, is that this one will never be a good person in society, will not be productive. But essentially, what we have come to train our teachers is dyslexic children are bright children, like any other person. Despite their none or challenges in decoding or in comprehending written texts, they still are able to pursue careers and succeed like anybody else. Because one, Esther said, issues of differentiated teaching, which has done marvelous. Bring in the IEP, individualize the teaching, attend to the individual difficulties, children succeed. Society should view them different. We don't mean that if you are a non-reader, you are going to be a bad mother or a bad father. There's nothing like that in society. We have got non-readers who are excellent entrepreneurs. They can't even read any text or material related to their business. But they're the best entrepreneurs in the country, despite our knowledge that they can't even read a text. So there is no relationship between dyslexia and the general performance of human beings. So according to us, there is no issue at all. All we need to put in place are the little measures that are required to make them better. And where those measures fail, let us invoke technology.
Yes.
We are using these gadgets so that then we are able to be more efficient. Why should we push somebody to read if they can't read? Because of a neural basis. Why should we force somebody to spell things or pronounce what their neural makeup does not allow them? Let us be a bit human. Let us invoke instincts. Let us invoke appreciation of their abilities and support them in what they are able to do rather than measuring in what they are not able to do. That is it.
All right, and as we almost come to a conclusion of this wonderful conversation, let's get to talk about the conference. You can't live without talking about it. So it's the first ever. Tell me more about it.
Great. Yes, it is the first ever dyslexia conference in Kenya and in Africa, although we are running it parallel with Ghana. But
first ever in Africa?
First ever in Africa. Wow. So we are actually sparring this conversation across the region. And it's very exciting for us because KISE and Bloom Dyslexia Center are co-hosting this first ever gathering of parents, educators, policymakers, tech professionals, mental health professionals to come together and just talk about dyslexia for the first time in Kenya and in Africa. And for us, why we're excited about this conference is because we are looking at it as a catalyst for regional policy reforms, inclusive or rather transformation in education, and in also inclusive workplaces, because today they are children, tomorrow they are adults. So if they are not supported in school, chances are they're also not supported at the workplace, because it means the system is not built for them. We are actually saying the system is not broken. It's just that it was not built for different brains. And that's the conversation that we want to have. And this conference for us is going to set the new benchmark of how neurodiverse Africans should be supported. So we are very excited. It starts tomorrow all the way up to Thursday. It's a 2 days event. We have great keynote speakers. We have very engaging and interactive panel discussions, breakout sessions in terms of workshops, and we are very deliberate together with Kenya Institute of Special Education, with the director who is very, very passionate about this, and especially parents, because if we support parents of children with special needs and disabilities, then we empower the children, because most of the time we focus so much on the children, but we also forget the parents who are the caregivers. So we have something for everybody for that conference. And it will be starting from 8:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. And on the final day, the second day, we are also launching, again, inaugural Neurodiversity Inclusion Awards, dedicated to individuals, organizations who are champions of neurodiversity, either at education level, employment level, or any other sphere of life that they are impacting persons with neurodiversity positively.
You didn't mention where it's happening?
It's happening at Kenya Institute of Special Education in Kasarani.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And it's open for anyone who would love to come attend?
Yes, it's open, but there's a registration link. So for anybody who wants to come, once they register, then they are most welcome to attend.
Amazing. Thank you so very much for joining me for this conversation and for shedding light on it. We appreciate.
Thank you.
Okay, we started off this conversation with most of us not knowing much about dyslexia, but I'm sure that we've come to the end of this conversation with a handful of information on the same, which is a good way of spreading awareness. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is where we end Good Morning Kenya for today. My name is Vivian Dagwa. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.
Kenyans, wake up, support Harambee Stars. Let's be disciplined because we have issues with CAF. Let's support our teams. Let's come out on Sunday. I know there's a bit of limitation. Wherever you'll be, even on TV, give encouraging remarks. In fact, if you ask me, we need to conduct a national Harambee to support the team. On top of what the president has given, tunatakana tuchange shilingi mbili tupea our vijana because they have made us proud and we all owe them appreciation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set for Chan 2024. Please watch out for every thrilling goal, every breathtaking moment on our radio stations, on our TV platform, and all on our social media pages. Chan iko KBC.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.